Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to episode 230 of Heavy Metallurgy. It's Friday. Hope you had a great week. I'm surrounded with a couple awesome dudes here. To my left, Alan, how you been? What's going on?
Just working through another week. Not a whole lot of interest to report there, but yeah, very excited to be back on for a fun Friday night. It's always, a great way to end the week, whether it's been a good week or a bad week. It's really nice to be able to hang out with everybody for a while and just talk about stuff we love. Hello to everybody in the chat. Seeing lots of folks checking in. Good to see y'all, and thank you for joining us and hanging out for the evening. We've got a returning guest, one of our favorite guests who, awesome guy, awesome artist, but we're not talking art tonight. We're going to actually, he gets a chance to talk music tonight.
You didn't have it like hours of slideshows and compositional breakdowns to do tonight.
Yeah, so. the prep was a lot more swift this time around for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Marcus, good to see you. How you been?
All right, it's been busy, man. Just wrapped up a couple freelance illustration gigs this week and took on a few more. So it's been busy. Yeah.
Well, the reason we got in touch, earlier last week, me and the kid went to the mall, and I remember you saying you had some clothing in Spencer's. So I waddled on in there, and sure enough, they had one design which I bought, took a picture, and said, "Hey, I had to support my war bro." And
I appreciate that.
So everybody go to Spencer's, and I guess Hot Topic has the wrestling stuff, which I did not go over to Hot Topic. So
yeah, they have a couple of wrestling products in store and online. Spencer's, I don't know which stores carry what. I know the one, Marty, that you picked up, I think is carried at pretty much all Spencer's, but some of them will have a few more products, just depending on the location. I don't know how they determine that. I think there should be some Riddick Art hoodies. 2 Riddick Art hoodie variants now available in store there.
I'm gonna have to look. It was like I said, we were getting ready to leave, and there was one spinny rack, one shelf on one spinny rack. I'm like, oh shit, there it is.
Yeah, check out Sawblade too. Daniel Shaw, he has some stuff out in Spencer's also. His stuff's really cool. I don't know if you're familiar with his work. He's done stuff for like Blastarian and like Toxic Holocaust, War Master, just a ton of like really underground bands. But his stuff's awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my wife's been really excited. She's been seeing your WWE designs as you've kind of previewed them. And
okay.
She's just like, these are so cool. Her and I used to go to a lot of those kind of wrestling events and stuff whenever they come through our area. So
really?
Yeah, the designs work really well because it's obviously your style, but it very much fits the WWE characters as well. Like, it doesn't feel like it's like, yes, it's clearly Riddick, but it's transitions really nicely into that line of merchandise too for that whole property instead.
I appreciate that. I did them a while ago. I had to get approvals from WWE to post the art and everything, so it took a month or two to get them to start promoting them. But it was unique. I didn't really follow wrestling. I think I watched it maybe one summer when I was a kid, when like Andre the Giant and all those dudes were doing the wrestling stuff. And I just couldn't get into it too much. But when they hit me up for some stuff, I was like, okay, cool. We'll give this a shot. And I had to do a little bit of research on some of these wrestlers because some of them were new to me. But it's been cool. Like Rhea, I saw Rhea was when I was researching her, I saw she was actually already wearing some stuff I had worked on for other brands, which was kind of cool.
She's kind of a super high profile wrestler. I'm sorry, you guys are from the South, isn't it? Wrestlers and wrestling. Go ahead. I almost didn't understand you there for a second. Yeah, she's pretty high profile.
That's cool. Yeah, she seems like I caught a couple interviews with her too, just out of curiosity, see what these wrestlers are about. She seems like a really cool person. But yeah, it was fun. It's fun gig. I did another one too that was with another athletic wear brand that I think will be probably dropping later this year. So we'll see. It'll be out at some point. Yeah.
Well, the garment game is tough. It's tough. Hopefully it's going well. I hope it's going well for you.
Yeah. It's done all right. Yep.
What were you gonna say, Ellen? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I wasn't. No, I was gonna say, yeah, it's really good designs, lots of good stuff out there. But yeah, Mark picked a different topic for tonight. Nothing art related. Mark wanted to talk like demos, EPs, 7-inch stuff. So Mark, what got you really excited to bring that to the table tonight?
Oh yeah, I just thought I'm part of it's my curiosity about what you guys have in your respective collections. And I know we all between the three of us, we kind of have different backgrounds in terms of how we got into this kind of music. My beginning was early '90s and doing the whole tape trading thing and writing to bands, fanzines, writing with record labels and some distributors and stuff like that back in the day. So I was able to acquire some things. I also did a compilation tape of my own in the early '90s called Gore Mordant, and I published 3 of those. And so some of the bands I would write to, so some of the demos I'll be sharing tonight are bands I featured on the compilation tapes, or some of it's just bands I happen to do artwork for, or eventually, or bands that I maybe had interviewed for some fanzines I was writing for back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of where my background is, and I thought it'd be cool to share some more obscure releases. A lot of them some people probably know, but there's going to be some deep cuts on my side that I feel like there's some bands that put out really awesome material and just either the band faded away or they just never found success for whatever reason. I think some of the bands I'm going to share, I think were a little bit ahead of their time too, where I can hear that when I listen to it now, I'm like, man, this band would probably be really popular right now, but because they cut one demo and then they disappeared back in like '93 or whatever, it just goes on under the radar for a lot of folks. So I thought I'd pull some things that might be good things to research or look into. I think a lot of the stuff I'm sharing you could probably find on YouTube anyway if you search for it. Whether or not the stuff lives on Discogs or anything, I have no idea. But I don't frequent that site very often. But I'm sure there's copies of some of this stuff floating around still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, folks aren't aware. You've been very well connected to a lot of the underground stuff for a really long time. So I think it's a cool topic, and I'm really interested to see what kind of things you've got. Because I'm sure there'll be things that folks are just like, "Holy crap, who is that? I've never heard of that," and we'll want to be checking them out.
Well, other than Mark looking like he's only 27 years old, I remember back in the day when I was doing Worm Gear Zine. I started that in '95. I'm so bummed. You sent me a packet. We've talked about this before last time. You sent me a packet, said, "Hey, my name's Mark Riddick. I'm an artist. Here's a bunch of art. I've seen your magazine. I think it's cool. Here's a bunch of art to use in your zine." And we didn't go that route because we were more graphic.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of illustrations, we're more graphic style.
Sure.
But still, I held on to that packet forever and ever and ever. I must have ditched it when we moved. But people that don't know, you've been around doing this for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I kind of regret is I don't know what happened to all of the letters, because I used to save the letters I exchanged with people, and I used to have a giant box filled with old flyers. I don't know where all that stuff is now. And even some of one of the demos I wanted to show, I couldn't find it, so I don't know if I let somebody borrow it. But it's one that is dear to me, so I'm like, why would I let somebody borrow that? I have no idea where it went. I have a repress of it, so I'll share the repress. But one of them I couldn't find, and I eventually, when I just recently alphabetized my collection, not just by letter A. Here are my A's, here are the B's. I didn't do a full the full alphabetization, but one of them I found that I was desperately looking for because it's one of my favorites. One I'm going to show tonight. I found it. It fell behind some cabinet, like a cabinet or something, or a bookcase or something like that in my rec room. So I was like, man, I'm so glad I found, because it was a really hard. I don't think you probably find it too easily nowadays. This one in particular, but so it's just it's a lot easier now to get around my collection, which is good, just because you know, sometimes I'm in the mood to listen to something and I'll be looking for like 15 minutes. I'll be like, oh, forget it. I can't find it. Now I can know where to go.
It's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how that goes. Yeah.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
nice feeling.
You get a sizable collection, you have to alphabetize. I mean, our friend Jason Hook, he stubbornly will not. He refuses to alphabetize. I'm like, how do you find anything? But he does. We'll name one thing. He'll run and pull it out. See, I have a system.
Wow.
I'm like,
Okay.
crazy. Yeah, I don't know. But well, awesome. Well, why don't you start? Go ahead and fire us off a demo, and we'll get the ball rolling.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'll start with. I'm going to start with a 7-inch EP here. This is an old one. Do you remember the? Do you remember the band Monumentum?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what this came. No, I take that back. I'm thinking of another record. Bear with me 1 second.
Monumentum, is that the Italian band?
Yeah, no, this is actually something different that I'm sharing. I was trying to think of what label this is. I don't even know what label this is on. So this is a 7-inch for a phlebotomy.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to start with an EP here, 7-inch EP. It's hard to see here because I'm in black and white, but it's a clear yellow vinyl. Oh yeah, this is on the Italian label, Molan Love. How do you pronounce it? Molan Lave Records, which was the dude from Monumentum. That was his old label before he started Avant Garde Records.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you guys probably know Avant Garde.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Still a great label. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and they do mostly. Well, they do kind of a mix, mostly black metal centric, but they do some death metal stuff on occasion. But this is what's his name? Marco? I can't remember his name. The dude from Monumentum. This is his old label, but they put it the Phlebotomy. Phlebotomy is a band from Greece, and this is a 7-inch EP that Ken from Ken's Death Metal Crypt hooked me up with. I'm still in touch. I have a text string with Ken and Dylan.
How is Ken? Is he good?
Oh yeah, he's doing well. Yeah, his kid's out in college now, so he's an empty nester right now with his wife.
Wow.
But yeah, so we shared what we're listening to, and I was sharing this On Thorns I Lay CD from Greece from Holy Records, an old one I was spinning at the time, and Phlebotomy is a precursor to this, and he was sharing this with me. I was like, oh dude, I wish I could have that. And he hooked me up. He just sent it to me because he's like, he's not particularly I guess he feels like he can live without it. But for me, like, this is a true gem. It's got like that traditional Greek sound, and it's very melodic. It has like really soaring, like gothic female vocals in it. Kind of like I don't know if you've heard of a gothic band from the 90s called Requiem in White. It's they eventually became, if I'm correct, they became more syphilitica was what they turned into, if I remember correctly. But it's the singer from that band is very operatic and soaring vocals. But it kind of sounds like that on here. But it's coupled with like the really deep guttural septic flesh type vocals and also some keyboards. So it's a really good 7-inch EP. But that's my first pick for tonight is this one that Ken gifted to me. Really good stuff. It's a classic Greek stuff.
Awesome start.
Free on Thorns every day.
Alan, how about you? Same setup here. When did you start getting into the whole demo scene?
Let's see. I started getting into demo stuff very slowly, somewhere in the mid 90s, and it was through some mail order stuff. I was starting to get 1 or 2 zines here and there. I was never in a place where the stores carried zines like issue in and issue out. So it was always this very hit or miss. But yeah, bands would advertise in some of them. Sentinel Steel Distro was, helping with some bands get their demos out there too. So you could get some of them directly from Sentinel Steel around 93, 94, 95 into 96, that kind of time frame. So yeah, some of it was, just writing to those places and getting a few here and there, getting a couple from local bands at shows. I got into the tape trading stuff with demos probably a year or 2 after that. I think bigger trading years for me were more like 96, 97, 98, 99. Those are the years I kind of remember like having to buy like, huge stacks of TDK tapes and sitting and running stuff off for folks and getting big piles of tapes back, which, had a lot of demos mixed in with them. And yeah, so they piled up for years, but cassettes were never my favorite format. It's just a fragile format. The sound degrades over time. It plays fine for a while. You put it in the tape player one day and it just gets, crunched and torn up to hell. So somewhere around 2000 and must have been 2006, maybe early 2007. I just offloaded most of my cassette tapes to a friend, and at the time I had to say this, just like, anybody who wants to come get these, you can have them for free. Nobody wanted to come get them, but eventually a buddy Scott, I was meeting him at a show. I think it was a Deceased concert in Raleigh. He was driving down from West Virginia, and he was just like, hey, if you still have like all those cassettes, I don't mind, taking them off your hands. I'm like, absolutely. So I had them all at the time arranged. I had taken the lids off a lot of like, the copier paper boxes that you would get, and you just had them fill like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 of those, box lids just crammed full of cassette tapes.
That's a lot.
It was a lot of tapes because they were the right size, with the lids to hold the tapes, and they you could feel like 3 or 4 rows of tapes, and they packed in nice and tight so they wouldn't shift around a lot. So it was kind of like having like makeshift drawers. And they were crammed under my bed, for God's sake. I had nowhere to put them. I was never playing them. A lot of the stuff by that point, people were starting to trade it on CDs instead. You were making CDRs for each other. Nobody wanted you to make tapes anymore. So yeah, when Scott came down, I loaded his car up with all these big cardboard trays of tapes, and that was the last I saw of them. I hope he still has them. I hope he enjoys them. I only kept a handful of things, but I did pick a few of those to show tonight. We'll get to those. But yeah, then of course, as folks got into more and more digital stuff, there just wasn't even much of a demand for trading anymore. You didn't need to when you could just listen to it on Bandcamp or find it on Discogs or hear it through YouTube and such. So yeah, trading's kind of a dead art at this point, but it's the way it is. But yeah, that's kind of my history with demos and trading. That was definitely the era I got most of that stuff. Let's see. For starters tonight, we'll go with this one. One of my favorite bands and their earliest recording. Keith Ungle did a very long demo in 1978. Over the years, it's become known as the Orange Album. Obviously a play on the Beatles, and this is of course a reissue that came out years later. They weren't making CDs in 78, but a lot of this is just Greg Lindstrom kind of goofing around with things. I mean, there's song structures, but a lot of it's him kind of noodling along, trying out different flangers and different keyboards and synthesizer sounds. But there are some songs on here that did make it into their set. For example, there's a version of Atom Smasher on here, which of course became one of their best known songs. Didn't get officially released until 1984 on the King of the Dead album. But that song, Atom Smasher, existed, and it's pretty similar overall in structure to what would come out later. So yeah, can you imagine if something like Atom Smasher had hit the airwaves in 1978? Like a year or two before the new wave of British heavy metal was even starting to become a thing. It'd just be crazy. But yeah, a lot of the others on here are feel a bit more dated. It's a fun listen for hardcore fans, but a lot of it, like I said, is Lindstrom just trying out some different instrumental patterns. There's some riffs and things here and there that made it. A few of the songs are okay. It's not essential listening. The demo they did in 79 has more tracks on it that made it onto albums later on. So he pretty quickly moved on from these kind of experiments on the Orange album, and they started putting songs together that you'd hear on Frost and Fire and King of the Dead and stuff. But it's still their earliest set of recordings, and it's still a fun listen if nothing else. So yeah, I thought I'd start with, I think this will probably be the oldest thing I show tonight. and from one of my favorite bands, their oldest recordings with the Orange album from Kirathungal.
Cool.
Very cool. All right. Well, I guess my story with collecting demos and it goes back to 1990. I graduated 89 up in northern Michigan. I was so far removed from any scene. I didn't realize, the demo thing that was going on or all the zines. It started to 1990 was the Michigan Death Fest 1 was at that show, and someone coming down the line, demos, $5. So I picked up this Morticius 1990 Genetic Blur. This is Terminal Terror and Genetic Blur together, both of their demos. And yeah, certain colors just kind of you see how orange the front is here, and on the spine it's a little less. They just they completely bleach out in the sun. I used to in my old bedroom, but this was kind of I'd get home and my buddy Scott bought a Zombified Preachers of Gore demo. Someone was selling those walking up and down the line, and of course we dubbed these for each other and all that stuff. And yeah, this was kind of where I was coming out of the thrash and into that show. I saw Morbid Angel for the first time. I never even heard them really. And there's Deceased, Nuclear Death, all these ripping early death bands, and it just blew me away, completely blown away. And this album, and this demo, these two demos are very adventurous US death metal. They're really kind of unique in the fact that they really rely on a lot of note-based rhythms. There isn't a lot of just plowing, brutal power chords. There's a lot of note-oriented stuff, but I always kind of wish they put out a full length. They never did. They're calling it a compilation on the archives. It's just both demos put together. The band did it. I must have bought it from somebody in the band because it was a whole box of them. But yep, this one set me down the path. Like, oh, there's this whole scene, and then I think I picked up a zine there too. It's had a lot of religious material. There was like a bunch of Christians there protesting the show. You walk through and they're giving you pamphlets that look metal, and you look at it and you're like, Mega Life. What is this?
Instead of Megadeth.
Yeah. Get inside. We're sitting down waiting for the band to start. Flip through. I'm like, wait a minute.
It's like, have you found Jesus? I'm like, I don't know. Are they the opening act? that
been
reply never went over
hornswoggled.
well.
Yeah.
That's funny. I have that Morticius. Ken, I think, sent me the CD repress from that Chinese label. Repressed the Morticius stuff, and I didn't realize Ryan's pointing out that they're from Virginia. I had no idea they're from Virginia.
It said Arlington on the archives there.
Yeah, and he's saying Woodbridge, which is a little further south, but I mean maybe some of the members are from there. But yeah, that's cool, and I have to go revisit it. It's been a while since I spun it.
And the one is live, and it's cool. You start looking at the it's just done on a TDK.
Oh yeah, yep, that's the old way.
And it's got a little handwritten from our '89 rehearsal demo, recorded in mono.
Oh,
and this construction paper, just photocopied on the construction paper.
Cool.
It's cool, man.
Yep.
DIY. The DIY was always a punk thing, but it was crept into the metal stuff too, for sure.
Right on.
All right, Mark, you're back.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull one that Human Falafel mentioned is also on my list, and it's Embryonic Death, their Stream of Solidarity demo tape. This is probably, I'm going to guess 93. So this band's from New York, and Embryonic Death, they put out 2 demos. I have one of them here. I don't want to show it because it's kind of a gruesome demo cover. It's their second demo. I don't think I ever had the first one, or if I did, I lost it. Anyway, this is their third demo, and this had a mixed reception when it came out, because their first 2 prior demos more brutal, like just nasty, kind of noisy, carcass-like, brutal death metal type stuff, really guttural. And this third demo was just took the band in a new direction completely. Doesn't even sound like the same band. But what's cool about this is that, and this is my favorite, and I know that for some folks they hate this demo, but I love it. So what you can hear what happened with this band is that they probably heard Human Remains for the first time, or maybe they were Ripping Corpse fans, but this you could tell they borrowed a lot from that New Jersey, their neighboring New Jersey style. You hear a ton of it in this demo. It's very much forward thinking, very somewhat experimental, but not to the point where like it's still death metal at its core, but they're more leaning toward like if you think of like Human by Death, it's sort of in that kind of the core of it's sort of in that realm, but it's got like the sort of the Jersey style experimentation in it with the crazy guitar tricks, stuff like that just sounds like it'd be really hard to play. One thing that's really cool about this too is the bass lines in it, and me being a bass player originally, I always had an appreciation for this tape because the bass player actually incorporates some slap bass in here, which you don't hear much of that in death metal, right? But I I'd like to hear bands do this kind of thing more often. The only band I could probably compare this to nowadays would be maybe Miscreants from Italy. I don't know if you guys are familiar. They're more progressive, kind of experimental death metal. This is the closest thing I can probably compare it to. But I just wish bands now, like I keep hearing the same stuff over and over again with the modern death metal. It's either sounds like it's recorded in the cave, or it sounds like it's trying to be hardcore. I want to hear a band really push the boundaries, and Embryonic Death did it. They took a major risk on this release, and yeah, mixed reactions. But if you check this out now, if you look it up, this would hold so strong right now compared to when it did when it came out around '93. So I'm kind of bummed this is the last thing they put out, but it's for me it's always had a place in my love for underground music. It really pushed the envelope more so than any other band took a chance on in the past,
Really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I've heard one of the Miscreants albums, and yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
His name's really familiar.
They've got
an album club on it, Marty, like that. Kellen, it strikes me as the kind of thing that Kellen might have chose for album.
Maybe that's why it sounds familiar.
I think
it's been a while.
Put it out. I think Unspeakable Acts, put it out.
Yeah, yep, you're right. They did.
And it was so they're not Unspeakable Acts closed up shop, but that was one of their later releases. And I have their demo too. They put a demo out, and they're on a split with what's it like Vile Apparition or something like that. So they've got a couple releases, but I'm looking forward to when Miscreants does a new full length, because that one album was one of my top favorites of that whatever year it came out, like 2 or 3 years ago. Anyhow, so Embryonic Death, look them up.
All right.
Yep.
Alan.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Yeah, and in case you missed it, Mark, somebody a minute ago, was it Christopher? Yeah, I was mentioning that he knew those guys in the
really?
Death. So
wow.
He just mentioned it in the chat a moment ago. So very cool there.
Oh, cool.
All right, let's get a beer open. This is another weird one. It's some kind of peanut butter and jelly beer. I've never had anything like this. This could go really poor, but what the heck? It was given to me by a buddy from the
now you need a macaroni and cheese beer and a SpaghettiOs beer, and you'll have your childhood all wrapped up in 3 easy pints.
I'd be like, where's my burrito beer? And just have a pint handed to me. We'll try that out here in a minute and see. All right, next up for me, this is my favorite demo band of all time. And I've talked about them several times over the years, so should be no surprise. But it's an Australian band, Armored Angel. This is their second demo, Wings of Death, which came out in '89. For me, this is kind of the ultimate demo band. They made 6 demos ranging from like 1985 to 1995. So you have like a decade worth of demo recordings before they finally got to make an album. And in less than a year, they broke up, and that was the end of them. So the demo recordings are really amazing stuff. The one from '85 has kind of a distinct Iron Maiden influence to it. It's what you would have expected a heavy metal band to sound like in 85. But then the second one didn't come out till 89. In those 4 years, most of the lineup changed out and they got notably heavier. On this one, it kind of straddles the line between, very heavy thrash and early death metal sounds. But excellent stuff, really good songwriting, top performances. It's basically a 3-man act. Lucy was always the main guy behind the band, but these key demos that he did with the Green Brothers, at least one of whom is still active on the Australian metal scene. He plays in a stoner doom band now called Witch Skull. They're just, really, really tight. This did get a vinyl press. I think it was it one of the Wild Rags, demo series things back in the day too. And a couple of demos after this. By 92, they did some demos. They also are sometimes listed as EPs. They're 4 tracks each, but by that point, they had moved a little bit heavier. They were in a darker style of death metal. They always struck me as Australia's answer to Bolt Thrower with a good dose of Motorhead mixed in. Really heavy, crushing stuff. Killer riffing that was very heavy. It had that kind of tank tread pummeling feel to it that Bolt Thrower did. They could lock in really tight on a riff and ride it for a long time. So you got almost a little bit of this kind of very trancy effect. Nothing psychedelic, but just, really, really locked in. They were one of the only bands where I went out of my way to go track down all their old original demo tapes. And they were some of the only demos I kept when I got rid of all my stuff. So I've got most of the Armored Angel demo tapes. There were 1 or 2 I never could quite track down, but all of the stuff they did from Wings of Death, Communion, Stigmartyr, that whole run of demos is some of my favorite death metal ever recorded. Bar none. I'll put the stuff up against Morbid Angel, any Florida band, any New York band, any Swedish band. This is just one of those bands that's my band. Love them to death. Picked up everything I could find by them over the years. Fortunately, their stuff has been reissued. I think Hell's Headbangers did vinyl pressings.
I was going to say, I thought I saw it on there not long ago.
Recently-ish, yeah.
It's probably been, it's been over 5 years now, so it's been a little bit, but they're most of them are still available. So it's not hard to find. Shadow Kingdom Records did some releases too. Really, the only thing that's super hard to find by the band is, original copies of the very first demo tape. That one I've only seen come up once, maybe twice for sale, and it's always a stupid, 3-figure price. So not paying hundreds of dollars for used cassette tapes that are 40 years old. I can't bring myself to do that.
It's never a good investment. Yeah.
Nah, just ain't. But if anybody likes, that kind of, Bolt Thrower style death metal and they've never checked out Armored Angel, there's a really nice compilation that has pretty much all of that material put onto a 2 CD or 2 LP set. It's called Hymns of Hate. It's essential listening for that style of music. Some of the best shit ever recorded.
Cool, I'll check it out.
Oh, all right, let's see what this peanut butter jelly thing tastes like now.
Reaction video on Heavy Metallurgy.
It definitely has a jelly thing kind of going on. I'm not sure I need that in a beer. We'll check back and see how it does over the night. That's
fruity beers are always a heartburn session. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay with fruit in some of them, but this one's more it really is more like jelly. I mean, it has a smell and tastes kind of like you've just taken jelly and dissolved it in the beer. Jury remains out while Marty shows his second choice.
I bet you they're great after you slam about 4 of them. These are great.
I do not think that'll be happening, but we'll work through this one and render a verdict later. Might grow on me. We'll see.
All right. Second demo I ever got. I was at this concert and downstate, and Lucifer's Hammer was local to the Detroit area. They're from Jackson area, Jackson, Lansing. They're all kind of all through there. But I bought it from the bass player, The Burning Church.
Yep.
This demo blew me away. And it's still Nuclear War Now just reissued it on vinyl here a couple years ago. Had to pick that up. It's just so damn heavy. The drums are just heavy as hell. Production is really good. Their Mists of Time full length is very much Bathory worship as far as Blood, Fire, Death, maybe a little bit of Hammerheart. There's like a plodding march to it, but it's still in the black metal realm. Todd's vocals very much gravelly, raspy kind of black metal style, and they're always played. Todd's mother, Sandy, her name, well, everybody called her Metal Mom. She's the one that put on the Death Fests, and she's a promoter down there. But yeah, this demo, it just absolutely rules. And the guitar player in it, Sean Peters, he went on to be in Summon, which you're going to see here in a minute too. Yeah. And Cavalcade is another band. We brought them up here years ago and had them play here in Michigan, and it was cool to talk to them and say, man, I bought I love the Lucifer's Hammer and the Summon shit, and it's just
killer. You have the insert.
Cool to get all these inserts and stuff with this, and it just just lives in the little tape case and survives somehow. But yeah, this has always been a favorite demo, and the Michigan scene. The southern Michigan scene, there's not a whole lot going on once you get, too far north, but you hit Flint and keep going south. There was some really cool bands, Fatal, Summon, Lucifer's Hammer, Masochist. They're all, those three bands were all, Winds of the Black Mountain. They were all within, they all come from Masochist. Masochist was the main band from that. Well, since I'm here talking about it, this is the next tape. Fire Burns Everything Black demo. This come out on Grinding Peace, which was Duke from Malicious Hate's band. I don't know if you remember Malicious Hate, Mark.
Yeah, I've got one of their tapes. Yeah, Malicious Hate. Yeah.
Saw them play a couple times back in the day too. But yep. So after he left Lucifer's Hammer, Masochist broke up, Summon started, and these guys, I've said it on here a million times, they were just absolutely devastating live. They had an amazing drummer. And the drunker they were, the better they played, which makes zero sense. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to play drunk. It sucks. It sucks. It's not fun. It's hard. It's frustrating. But yeah, they excelled at it. But this is more orthodox style black metal. It's fast churning, razor throat vocal style, searing guitar, tremolo type riffing. Great. That whole scene from that one band Masochist, it sprouted some really cool music. I really wish Lucifer's Hammer could have done more. They put out Mists of Time. There was another album too, if I remember right. I don't know if I think I have a CDR of it, but they were really good. It's really too bad.
Yeah, Ghosts of Fall, I think is
Ghosts of Fall. That's exactly right. Yep. And they opened for all the bands that came through because Todd's mom was the promoter. So. But they were good. They were a good band live. So I don't know. It's just weird how some bands just can't, keep going. Fatal, man, that's a band. That band was great. It's really too bad that band didn't keep going too. More just straight up death metal. That's that band. But anyway, I'm rambling. Mark.
Yeah, I remember seeing Fatal in some of the underground zines, but I don't think I own anything by them. But I used to be in touch with. I think one of the guys from Lucifer's Hammer reached out to me in the early 90s. I was supposed to do like a logo or something for them. And I don't know why. I guess it fell through. I never ended up working on it. But I remember being in touch with one of those guys very briefly. And then Summon, my brother, I think, did the layout for one of their albums down the line, like maybe their first or second album or something like that. So we must have been in touch with them at some point in the 90s. My next pick, let me grab it really quick.
Fatal did rule. Excellent old school death metal. Great shit.
You have to check them out. I know I have the logo burned in my brain. I know what the logo looks like. I just don't think I have anything by them. Next one I'm going to share because he's in the chat. We have Ryan's old band, Incarnus. So Incarnus, it's kind of a unique band. Well, actually, this has an insert too. I'll go ahead and share that. But this is the demo cover. I believe this is their second demo. Really killer logo by Christoph Speisdale on there. which is awesome to see. There's a little insert. Something about the insert. I'm not sure what's on it. I can't remember. Probably lyrics and think lists and stuff. Yeah, looks like it might have an MC Escher piece of art on it or something like that. And you got the back with Ryan's old Virginia Beach address on it, which is cool. I mean, Virginia band. It's awesome to share another Virginia band here. But Incarnus, I would say, like sound wise, they kind of reminded me a lot of another Virginia band, Morbius.
They're good too.
Yeah. So Morbius, and I'd say maybe like Order from Chaos. Probably, I was assuming maybe Ryan can let us know what bands he was influenced by on those early Incarnus recordings. But I hear like a lot of Order from Chaos and Angel Corpse type style playing. But really solid demo. I saw them live. I think one of my first shows, I was probably 15 or something. And I remember meeting Ryan very briefly. Super nice dude. I don't know, Ryan. I can't remember if you hooked me up with the demo, if I ordered it. I can't recall. It was so long ago. But it's good stuff. It's actually, I would say Incarnus, what was cool about them is that, with the US death metal, you get a lot of this sort of chuggy Cannibal Corpse influence.
Yeah.
Gore death metal type stuff. And what was cool about Incarnus is that they lean more toward like the immolation kind of style, like that really dark death metal, very serious tone, no joking around. It's just really dark death metal, and really well executed, really good production on that demo, in my opinion. So I thought I'd share that. Ryan's in here all the time, clearly like huge into to the Heavy Metallurgy channel, which is cool. So I see him supporting your channel all the time. It's good to share something from his old band on here.
Hell yeah.
Very cool.
Let's all get higher than Ryan during the recording of that demo. All right. Good one. I've never heard him. I don't know. It slipped through the cracks for me.
Oh yeah, it's good. If you want some dark death metal, check him out.
Sweet. All right, Alan.
Okay. Following up on the Southern Michigan thing, coincidentally, there's been some old 80s 7-inch singles on eBay lately. And when I started looking into them, several of them are from, Michigan bands. There was one band from Flint, one from the Detroit area. So, there was a good scene down there, even kind of, pre-death metal, get back into like, mid and late 80s 7-inch singles came out of Southern Michigan too.
No, if you boil it down, you got Flint, which is, the birth of grindcore with Repulsion. So, Michigan represent.
Yep. I'll be talking about those singles over on Let's Talk Metal in a week or two, because when I noticed they were all kind of from the same place, I made a video about it, but I haven't posted it yet. All right, let's move over to Cleveland and talk about a Cleveland band and demo. This is something I don't know if I got it straight from the band or if I got it like through Sentinel Steel distro, which would have been in contact with them. But Cleveland area band called The Awakening. It was a cassette tape. It didn't come with any kind of J card or anything. I ended up having to, get some magic markers and make my own little J card for it back in the day. It was called On and On. So yes, we just kind of, drew a little winding path through a bunch of fire and stuff. And,
if he had puffy paint, he would have made a shirt for it too, but he didn't have any of that. That's
hey,
he ran out after the Metallica shirt.
This was during the great puffy paint, recession around 94. The tariffs on that stuff skyrocketed and you couldn't find it anywhere. Like every single Michaels in the Midwest was completely tapped out. But so regard whether I got it from the band or through something like Sentinel Steel, either way, it seemed interesting. The tape says they're from, let me get the name right, because the archives lists them as Cleveland, but on this tape at least it says Brimfield, Ohio, which could be a suburb. It's something like 40% of Ohio considers itself to be a suburb of Cleveland, which always amused me to death when I lived there. You'd have people who lived like 30 minutes outside of Columbus and they would tell you where they lived relative to Cleveland. Like, I'm like, 2.5 hours southwest of, Cleveland. Like, doesn't that put you like right next to Columbus? Yeah. Why the hell didn't you say you were right next to Columbus? Everyone in that state references their coordinates to Cleveland. Anyway, The Awakening, it turns out they had a bit of history. I didn't know at the time, but they had started out back in the mid 80s as a band called Axemaster, a very 80s sounding metal band. They had made a couple of albums. They had one called Blessing in Disguise on the Azra label, which metal theologian Inver in the chat, I'm sure, is familiar with that one. So they put out some albums, and done okay for themselves. But somewhere around 91, they ended up changing their name. Lots of bands were changing styles and such around then, and this band did too. It feels, it's still got a traditional metal sound to it, but it's definitely starting to lean more towards, a little bit of a hard rock with a little bit of prog worked into. Yep. Aaron knows the name, I see, for sure. And this one's a little weird because it's not the original demo, even though it came from the band. Archives lists the demo as being like 93, but this has copyrights of both 91 and 94 just written on, and it's just like a thin paper label here. So I think what they had done is they had a demo called On and On that came out in 93, but then in 94 they took those songs and they added a few songs to it and put this version of the demo out. So this is kind of like the version of the demo from a year later with some extra tracks. Just in kind of terms of where their head was at, there's a cover on here of Pat Benatar's Hell is for Children, which is done really well, but that kind of gives you an idea of what they were trying to do. Take that kind of, darker hard rock sound, rough it up just a little bit for a metal audience. But yeah, we're not talking death metal or, thrash or anything extreme at this point. They did some other demos. They did release an album locally around 95. I remember finding it at a record store. It was either in Akron or Canton, somewhere in, again, go to Cleveland and, come southeast a little bit. And you hit those towns. So they had a presence, on the overall Cleveland scene, but they never seemed to get any real traction beyond that. The album wasn't bad. It had most of this demo material on it, plus, more songs, since it was from a year or two later. But yeah, so if anyone ever had the old Axemaster Blessing in Disguise album and wondered what the heck happened to them, they turned into The Awakening. They did some recordings, and some people attacked them with magic markers and still have the tape 30 years later. So this was one of the other few demos that I liked it enough that when I got rid of my tapes, I'm like, I'm going to keep that one, because it was there weren't a ton of heavier bands operating around Cleveland in the mid 90s when I lived up in Ohio. So anytime I found a band that was doing something, I would pick up their stuff and play it a lot. And even though I haven't been able to, I physically can't play that tape, but just looking at the tracks, I can still hear pretty much every one of them in my head. Wow. So it was always cool to find a band trying to do something heavy in the mid 90s in Ohio.
You could try to sell that one online for hundreds of dollars for rare cover.
Yeah, special, advanced, custom. That's the word you want. Custom cover.
That's funny. I remember Axemaster. I think I saw them in a couple of my fanzines from interviews and stuff. So I recognize the logo.
Yeah, I think they might have been on one or two compilations with a track here or there. So, I mean, the Axemaster was never a huge band, but they were big enough to get 2 albums made in the late 80s. So a lot better than many bands did. But they never quite made it to that next level.
All right. Well,
all you, Marty.
Well, Mark mentioned them here a minute ago. Angel Corpse. Well, doing a zine, bands start contacting you. I think it was Gene sent me the Goats to Azazel or Azazel. I think this is the debut Angel Corpse demo. The old sticker on the TDK or the BASF. Sorry, BASF 90. Basically, I was pretty blown away by this demo, other than the fact that the sound is pretty rough. It's really aggressive, really caustic. You could tell it was done quickly and on probably no budget, but this has Perversion Enthroned, Scapegoat, Soul Flare, Lord of the Funeral Pyre, and When Abyss Winds Return. rehearsal track. So there's some rehearsal stuff on here as well. But so covered it, and wasn't too much longer later, he sent me a couple more tapes. This is a basically the 2 tracks from the Wolflust 7-inch. So it's got Wolflust and Nuclear Hell on it, but set up as a promo. It's kind of cool that they went through these. We got the track 1 and 2 taken from the Wolflust 7-inch, tracks 3 and 4 taken from the Nuclear Hell. Both 7 inches available in limited edition quantities for $6, $7 world. And he also sent the Hammer of Gods promo tracks. I don't remember if this was from the recording sessions. It's been 1,000 years since I've listened to this, but yeah, this will always be my favorite era of the band. This always was a great band. Saw them a million times. They would always come through Michigan, but yep, just John Longstreth on drums. They played a Michigan Death Fest one year, and one of the bands canceled, so they played twice in one day. They played one stage, someone canceled, and Sandy's like, "You guys, can you play the other stage?" They're like, "Sure." And they went onto the smaller stage, and I went right over to watch them. They were just even more intense on a small stage. You could just feel the fury rolling off the stage. It was absolutely crushing. They were so good. That early stuff was just so venomous. Loved it. But yeah, it was, God, I wish the Ghost to Azazel demo sounded a little bit better. Like I said, it's a little raw, a little caustic, but pretty cool little artifacts to have laying around the tape racks for sure.
When did that come out, Marty?
I can look it up. I don't remember.
Just in general, I was wondering.
Like 93, 94 maybe.
Yeah, we started in 95, so it was 96. Ghost to Azazel came out in 96.
Okay. It's kind of funny that even back then they had the whole limited number of copies thing. So it's not just bands on Bandcamp doing it today. There's a history of that. Of course, back then, what did you do back then to get a limited copy? You had to be like standing in line at the post office at 12 o'clock on Friday, waiting to be the first 100 people to buy a stamp to try to order it or something.
Right.
That wouldn't quite work the same way it does today with everybody programming bots on a Bandcamp.
Well, I think they were saying the 7 inches were limited, but I'm sure they already committed them to a cassette tape. They could have that could have lived on as long as they wanted to keep printing them.
But then everybody wouldn't be lined up to order it right away.
True.
FOMO 1996 style.
All right, Mark.
Yeah, I've got that the same demo, Marty, the Angel Corpse Hammer of Gods demo.
Promo, yeah.
Or promo, yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, same.
I don't think it is the full album, is it?
I don't think
No,
so.
it's only got 3 songs: Envenom, Perversion Enthroned, and Black Solstice.
Yeah.
Great song.
I'll
Holy shit.
have to revisit that. I haven't listened to that in a long time.
Yeah.
So my pick, I saw somebody mention the band Crossfade from Jersey, and I actually really like that Ruined demo as well. But I didn't pick it, but I would have. But there's too many to pick from. But I did pick Human Remains, another Jersey relic. This is Dave Whitty's, one of his old bands. I used to be in touch with him.
They were crazy.
Yeah, so you can see there's a Maxell cassette. And actually, it looks like I saved a little cutout of their 7-inch review or something. So Rob Leacock did the art. He also did the Rob Leacock, who did the Human Remains artwork, also did the Embryonic Death logo. But anyway, Human Remains, they did put out an EP, I believe, on Relapse. So you get if you've heard that, you get a feel for what this demo is. It's one of my favorite demos. It's really unlike a lot of things, except for maybe Ripping Corpse. I can hear the Ripping Corpse influence, but they were doing stuff on their guitars that I don't know how to do. I don't know what you call like a ghost bend. All these weird tricks. I don't know if they're using.
They do a lot of volume swell shit while tapping. They do volume swells. Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's just. I love that. It's just so different. A lot of harmonics and stuff, artificial harmonics, and it just nobody really sounds like them. The only the thing like that comes to mind that's maybe closest, and it's only because of the vocals, would maybe be Obscene, the band Obscene. It's a newer band. But yeah, I mean, Human Remains kind of stand on their own. This is just so unhinged. A lot of tempo changes, just weirdo guitar playing, and kind of going back to the Embryonic Death. It's sort of like they kind of helped really define that Jersey sound. Think of Ripping Corpse, Human Remains, Crossfade. And I know Embryonic Death isn't in Jersey, they're New York, but maybe throw Torture Crypt in the mix just for a good measure. But they had their own distinct way of playing, and I don't think anything else really sounds quite like Human Remains. I wish they put more stuff out. Really solid demo tape, though.
All right.
It's peanut butter jelly time. Working on it. I'm going to try to get there. Let's see. I think this next band is from Illinois. Let's double check. Yeah, Chicago area band. I've got a couple of those tonight. This is another old tape that somehow made it through the giant purge 20 years ago. The band is called Avernus. And they started... They did a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a ton of demos by them. And they started out in kind of, the Peaceville 3 Doom Death type style for a while, and then cleaned up the sound as they went on. They ended up making an album around 96, I'm going to say.
I think they're back, actually.
Yeah, they are.
I think so. I've seen some things that, they may be putting some stuff out. But yeah, they finally did a full album, 97, of The Falling. And by that point, they were very much more like a gothic metal band. They didn't really use the harsh vocals anymore. But early on, they had a lot more of the kind of classic My Dying Bride or Paradise Lost Anathema sound.
Which demo is it, Alan? Are you
Sadness?
Well, that's kind of one of the funny things. This tape is just, again, TDK that somebody sent me. But this one has... it has the Farewell to Eden demo from 96 on it, which is where they started getting much cleaner, if I remember. But there's also a track on here. It was supposedly a one-song demo called Anastasia 2 Resurrection. And I've never been able to find a reference to this song or this one-track demo. It doesn't match anything on Metal Archives, to my knowledge, unless something's
it's on here. It's on here. Let me pull it up for you.
Do they have it? Do they have under a different name or something?
Hold on one sec. Share screen.
Let's see.
Avernus.
Sadness.
There we go.
Goodness. Farewell. Yeah, the Farewell to Eden is there.
Anastasia, one song. There's a picture of the actual demo.
Okay.
Which is out right there.
Where is it? Anastasia.
It's a promotional single from upcoming 94 demo. So they did a demo of the demo.
Okay. Well, wait, but that's Anastasia, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is Anastasia 2, like Roman numeral 2, with the song Resurrection on it.
Oh.
So I think it's a different. I mean, it's possible. Again, one thing
that song Anastasia Part 2, The Resurrection, is on the Godlessness demo.
I wonder if it somehow got chopped off the Godlessness demo, because I had that demo as well on a different tape, but that one has not made it to the current time. So I'm not sure what's up. I don't know if they did some tapes with just Resurrection separate as a demo. If somehow it got chopped. People would just, cram extra tracks if they had a few minutes left on a tape when you were doing this kind of tape trading. And sometimes, song titles and even album titles would get really obscured. People's handwriting could be terrible. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. But it's like this one random extra song. It's definitely not part of the Farewell to Eden demo that's on here. You can get some of the bands. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, maybe it was for a compilation or something like that. I don't know.
Could have been, yep. And it may just be that it was one extra song from the other demo that Marty pulled up. You can get some of their stuff on this compilation too that came out years later, which is called Where the Sleeping Shadows Lie. So gives you an idea of what some of their demo stuff was. I do like the Of the Fallen album also, but it is again a much lighter, very much just in a straight goth metal style. I thought their demo stuff was much better. They just, probably were a little late to the table by the time they were doing that stuff. You already had all the peaceful bands had done it and moved on to other things.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably hard to be like, oh yeah, we're doing what those bands did a few years ago and already got tired of.
What label put the compilation out?
It's on something called Cursed Productions.
Oh yeah, I remember Cursed. I used to write to them. Yeah. Did you write to them too, Marty? Cursed Productions?
Yeah, I dealt with them. I think they sent promos.
Yeah, they used to do
the zine. Yeah.
Yeah, and they used to do a magazine before they did the label.
Yep.
I think I've got an issue somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. I just checked. I only have the Sadness demo. I thought I had a second one, but I guess not.
Yeah, I have some of them on like MP3s that I found over time. I think I have Sadness and Godlessness and maybe one other. I haven't played most of them in a long time, but always enjoyed their sound. So yeah, weird stuff you can get into digging through when people have spliced together demo tapes for you with tape trading. Avernus, if you like the Peaceful 3 sound, their early stuff is definitely worth checking out. All right, Marty. Oh, wait, Marty has disappeared from view.
I'll go ahead and
sorry,
I hope he doesn't mind if we're talking Peaceful. I got the oh, there you are, Marty. Oh, you go ahead, Marty. You go.
Oops. They changed there we go. That's not right. The buttons are a little different tonight.
I actually have that. This is the only one I have by them. That
the Anastasia one.
Anastasia, yeah. I thought I had Sadness, but I don't have it, which is weird because that demo was all over the place.
Yeah, it was.
Huh. Yeah, that's
what do you have? What do you have, Mark? Did you grab it?
Oh no, I was going to show some. I thought you fell off, but it looks like you're back. I don't want to cut in front of you, but yeah, I just checked. I the only one I have is Sadness, by Avernus. Also, I don't have anything else by them that I could find.
Okay. Sorry, typing. All right. Well, let's go to where are these guys from? I don't remember. Yeah, Boston. God, this is a really good demo too. December Wolves, Wolf Tread.
I've got that. Yeah.
Oh, God, these guys were trying to break away from the American sound and just kind of, you could tell there was a lot of appreciation for the European, probably the Scandinavian style. Very well done demo. This thing folds out into like a totally pro printed. All the lyrics, bunch of Evil in the Woods pictures, which is always great.
I think Scott is the guy. I think the guy on the top right.
Yep, he was the drummer, and he also had a Curse of the Chains. Was
yeah,
that the name of his zine. Yeah.
I was trying to remember what that was called, and he did a compilation called Nightshade. I think Nightshade compilation back in the day.
Yep. These guys started off very, Scandinavian based sounding black metal, but they did it really well. Their Till 10 Years debuts really pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the caliber of quality that the Scandinavians did, but it was really good. And then they went into more of the Completely Dehumanized was just way more explosive and caustic and a little bit of a, I don't want to say industrial vibe, but they did kind of embrace that a little bit. That Completely Dehumanized was a very violent, excellent record as well. After that, I don't remember. Oh yeah, Blaster Peace Theater. I got a promo for that, and I didn't do much for me, if memory serves. But this here, I dug their Scandinavian aspirations here. This Wolf Tread demo is really, really, really good. Yeah. So for Boston, when you say the words Boston, it doesn't invoke woodland mysticism and all that stuff by any means. But
yeah, that is a good demo though. I think I maybe got it from a tape trader, the first full length. But I always remember going back to the demo. The demo is what I think I enjoyed most by them.
So I remember right, the demo was a little bit heavier.
Yeah,
I still like the debut is a good CD too, though. It's good. Yeah. I enjoy it.
Who put it out? Do you know who put this debut out? I don't even know who it was. Is it Hammerheart or something like that?
I can tell you, I got that came on Hammerheart. Yep.
Okay. Gosh, I'm surprised I remembered that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, great.
Jeez. Sometimes my brain, I wonder.
All the shit I forget and all these stupid little nuggets
Yeah,
of information
yeah.
I don't forget, and it makes no sense, zero
Stuff
sense.
like that.
It's like baseball stats.
Yeah.
Some people are good at baseball stats.
Yeah.
All right.
So my next pick, I'm going to start with this. My little introduction here is the first compilation tape I ever bought in the underground scene or ordered was one called Death from Below, and it was from Connecticut, and it had bands like Demolic, Lobotomy, Embalmer, Dissenter, Head Rot, Dissection, Phantasm, Sarcoma, Putrid, Mythic, Cemetery, Rotrevor. So a lot of classic underground bands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool artwork too. But the one band that really captured my interest was the My Dying Bride track on here. So I went out of my way after checking this out, and I ordered the My Dying Bride demo tape. Since we're just talking about the Peaceful 3 a minute ago, I thought I'd pull this one out next.
That's a good demo. That's a good demo.
Yeah. So what I really like about this is here's the actual cassette. I think it's typed on there on a little. It's typed onto a little label. I don't even know when this came out. Probably like '92, maybe. Anyway, so what really caught me by surprise hearing it for the first time was just how ominous they sounded with the church bell and the deep, almost downtuned sounding choirs.
Mm-hmm.
And what was cool, and I have to say with My Dying Bride, their demo and their first CD EP are my favorites by them. They really kept true to their death metal core on those tracks. The demo especially, you can hear like the death metal is clearly the backbone of the music, and then the doom kind of follows suit. But I felt like as it progressed, they got a little too. The clean vocals didn't really do it for me. I still picked up a couple of their early albums, but the more death metal centric stuff with the growled vocals just really had just such a heavier, more oppressive feel to it. But Toward the Sinister is definitely my favorite by My Dying Bride. So I had to share that one since we were just talking about some other old English stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alan.
All right, just responding to Tycho in the comments. He's mentioning several good demos here. I'm going to do this one next just because this pile's taking up a lot of space on my desk at the moment. So, yeah, one of kind of the real infamous classic set of demos came from the band Hellhammer. Of course, their pre-Celtic Frost days. And, yeah, the legends about, recording this stuff in a bunker and all that are part of heavy metal lore. But yeah, a lot of it was put together in this package called Demon Entrails. And it's one of those funny things to me. It's like, oh yeah, this was, put out recently. I'm looking at the copyright. It was put out in 2008. It's been 17 years since this. I mean, entire high schoolers have been born since this thing was put out. But yeah, it includes, they did a few different versions. You could get it on vinyl. It was a really nice vinyl package, but it was kind of pricey. And then they had a regular CD version, I think. And then they had this kind of fancy CD package. So I went for the fancy CD one. It's got the Satanic Rites demo is on disc 1. And then you've got Death Fiend and Triumph of Death on disc 2. Which always confused me a little bit because Satanic Rites is, let's see. Actually, yeah, is, from December 83. The other demos are earlier in 83. So to me, it would have made more sense to put the early stuff on disc 1 and the later stuff on disc 2. I'm guessing they did it this way because the Satanic Rites stuff, just the sound quality, everything overall is a lot tighter on that demo. So I'm guessing they felt like they wanted to put the strongest material on the first disc, and the stuff that was a lot rougher and rawer sounding, put it on the second disc. Although if you're buying a bunch of Hellhammer demos, you kind of expect it to sound rough anyway. So I'm not sure what they were trying to hide. regardless, these demos have always been kind of legendary for helping establish an extreme metal follow-up to Venom, which of course was a big influence on the band. And this would lead into Apocalyptic Raids. Apocalyptic Raids would lead into the name change and Morbid Tales, and things would snowball from there. One thing that's neat, these demos were circulated a ton before they got reissued, but they actually did even get a bootleg vinyl release at some time as picture discs. And so I had those from back in the day. I got these from King Fowley when he was like culling out part of his record collection at one point. But yeah, they were doing like 120 copies of each, pretty typical small bootleg pressing. But this one had the Satanic Rites demo on it. And then, there's a similar one done, same kind of layout that was done for Triumph of Death. But this one has some of the Death Fiend stuff on it too, if not all the Death Fiend stuff. Again, you're dealing with bootlegs of very old demos, so tracks get mixed together and all that. But yeah, I always liked these picture discs. I always liked the old Hellhammer stuff. So when King had these for sale, I was just like, oh, those are super cool. He gave me a real nice buy on them. So I think I actually got the Apocalyptic Raids EP from him at the same time, because he had an earlier pressing of it. It wasn't a first press, but it was like maybe the second or third pressing.
Oh.
There's a bunch of weird little variations on Apocalyptic Raids if you start matching different shades of pink and all this kind of crazy stuff from the band logo. But yeah, this one seemed like it definitely needed to be mentioned. All the Hellhammer demos were a huge thing, getting that band established and underground and setting the stage for some of the really earliest extreme metal on the scene, this side of Venom anyway.
I mean, is there a more influential band for extreme underground music?
It's really is hard anymore to find an extremer band that doesn't refer back to Hellhammer. Which is crazy, of course, because at the time they weren't taken seriously.
Or maligned.
Yeah, they fell apart pretty early. Even the band themselves didn't. They wrote off that part of their history for a long time, and it's just we were dumb kids, didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Sorry about that. And now it's some of the most influential stuff ever.
All right. Well, this is a reissue of a demo. This is a professional reissue done by Wild Rags. Richard C. would license demos for the U.S. market, I guess. And this is a favorite, Wrath of the Tyrant. God, this thing.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
I love the production on this thing. And, keep in mind, these are 15, 16-year-old kids. It just blows me away. And I really love the grim side of Emperor Sound. And, even though this is a raw production, it's still really kind of heavy and it suits the material perfectly. So that helps. But one thing I did notice, the synth intro that starts this tape off is different than what's on the CD reissue of it, which I had this first forever and got used to it a certain way. When I heard the CD that whoever put it out, Century Black or whatever, I don't know, it was a completely different synth intro. And I've seen pictures of the original demos, like a piece of paper all folded up into a J card, and it'd be cool to find one of those. But Wrath of the Tyrant, the songs on this are great. There's some symphonic elements, of course, that are at the core of this, but it's just very well written, grim, yet very atmospheric Norwegian black metal, and the heaviest thing they've done. And some of this material went on to be on In the Night Side Eclipse, of course, which I wish there was one more album in the vein of In the Night Side Eclipse. I love anthems, don't get me wrong, but they just evolved so quickly. Every album was just more of everything, just more synth layers, more prog, more evolution. They didn't stand in one spot very long, which I guess due to the longevity of the band, that was probably a good thing. But Yep, Wrath of the Tyrant. I got another couple more Wild Rags demos in here too, which we'll be showing later. Mark, what you got?
Just trying to. I have notes.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I've got that. Also, the Wild Rags.
Yep.
Issue, and also
Love it.
yeah.
Oh, is that original? Nice. Yeah.
Well, it's not quite the original. My buddy has the original. I just have a copy of the original.
Yep.
That's a 152, but it's not obviously not the original, but you get the idea.
Now, does that synth intro, is that the same one that's on the Wild Rags tape?
What's that?
Is the intro on that?
Oh God, I don't remember. I have not listened to these either. I mean, I like Nightside and Eclipse, so if I'm going to listen to Emperor, that's usually my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I haven't listened to these in quite a while, so I can't remember what's on the intro. I mean, it reads introduction on here. On this one, I am not sure if it even mentions it. It's been a while since I've checked these out. Yeah, there's an intro on here as well,
Yep,
but I don't know if
the
they're
same.
identical.
Yeah.
I'll have to give it a try.
It's just I found it interesting. Why would they change it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So my next pick, a band, I believe they're, geez, where are they from? Are they New Jersey also? Or yeah, I think they might be Jersey. They are. I've been talking all New Jersey bands. This is Psychosis. Also wearing the old shirt from back in the day. Nice. Which is 31 years old or something like that.
And you still fit in it. Bravo.
Actually a little big. I guess I wore baggier clothes in my youth because I was probably like 30 pounds lighter than I am now.
Huh.
Wearing like XLs or whatever. Anyhow, yeah, so this is really killer stuff. Rest in peace, Doug, the guy I used to write to, passed away, I think, a couple of years ago, but he was one of the guitarists in this band. Again, New Jersey based, but I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them. They eventually, they changed their name to Mass Psychosis after this demo, and the 7-inch EP came out. So the 7-inch was put out by Infest Records, which is a French label that used to be Thrash Records. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Thrash Records. I think they did like Convulse and a bunch of like Mayhem, some other stuff.
We just covered Convulse and past Wednesdays.
Oh, you did? Yep. Yeah, exactly. Same Convulse. But there's a book that just came out. I did the cover art for about the history of Thrash Records. I think 7 Inches of Metal published it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that publisher, 7 Inches of Metal. Or
I've heard of it.
7 Metal Inches or something like that.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a multicolor splatter vinyl on here. It's like got like red, blue, yellow, and I know for you guys it looks grayscale. Anyhow, this band, super heavy riffs, kind of very much rooted in thrash metal. But what made Psychosis interesting is not just the dynamic songwriting. They had really killer, like some great soloing, some great breaks, a lot of riffs jam-packed in each song. Really super dynamic songwriting, right? But the vocalist, his vocals are so weird and unhinged. He has like, it's almost like 4 different singers in one. I don't know how else to describe it. But if you guys want some unique death metal that doesn't sound like anything you've ever heard before, check out Psychosis. Totally worth it. If you're into that death metal that is very much rooted in the metallic thrash kind of sound, it's worth checking out. It's very dynamic. Highly recommended. Psychosis from New Jersey.
Right on.
Well, I have to keep that one in mind.
Ellen.
Let's see. Marty, while I show the next one, can you put the Heavy Metallurgy email up on the little streaming banner? Somebody in the chat had a question they wanted to ask on email. And if I type the email into the chat, it's probably just going to not get shown by YouTube.
Leave it up for a minute.
So yeah, Metal Minions, there you go. You can send the message over there to that email address. Marty will leave it up there for a minute, and we'll get you a reply in the near future. All right, let's see. let's go with this one next. This is a CD reissue of kind of a semi-classic demo. And Promethean Radio was asking this question earlier. It's a good one. Can all consider it. What do y'all think of demos that are getting reissued on CDs, whether it's as bonus tracks or just as standalone things? Obviously, it's not an OG cult kind of item. Personally, I don't have a problem with them at all because with this kind of material, it's really the only way most people can obtain it. Again, there's very few copies of these old cassette tapes or 30, 35-year-old CDs and stuff around. They go for ridiculous prices. The sound's not good. So, yeah, I've got no problem with labels and bands putting stuff back out on like a reissue CD. The quality is going to vary, of course. There are some that probably aren't worth the money, but in general, I think it's fine. Do y'all have any strong opinion on that?
I think it's an awesome amenity to have. I've myself purchased a lot of stuff that I missed out on.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know some people are more like, even about the art, they want it to be purist and be the same. Like I'm even cool if it's like alternate artwork. It's cool to see the original too, but either way, it's cool with me. But yeah, I have no problem with it whatsoever.
Okay.
I think it's preferable because you look at these are all artifacts of nostalgia. That's what this stuff is. And I'll listen to a tape if it's the only thing I have, buy it. If I don't have it on any other format, but the CDs are so more convenient. They just are. And cassettes, they, like Alan, you said, they degrade just sitting on the rack. They do. I don't know if it's something, the chemicals in the tape. I don't know what it is. Some don't, some do. It all depends on the cheapness of but I don't know, having degrading, of course, CDs too, I don't know. There's something wrong with all formats, but tapes are just
they're the most fragile. Yeah.
They're the most fragile and the most annoying. And anyway.
Yeah, I agree. If I have something on both formats, like if I have an original demo and then I have a CD repress, I'm going to play the CD repress because I don't want to wear the demo down.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. Yep. All right. And all right. Yeah. Metal Minions got the email address. Thank you, Marty.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, for this round, we'll do a demo that got a CD reissue. Marty and I were talking about this one after last week's stream. I don't think it made it into the stream, but it will tonight. It's the original Annihilation Complete demo from Anacrusis. This one really did help put this band on the map. It's an excellent demo. At this stage, Anacrusis were still heavily rooted in thrash metal. But they already had, hints of the sound that was to come. They were already standing out a bit, not just for being extremely competent. This isn't a band that had to work through some demos just to learn how to play their instruments. This demo was very, very well received when it came out in 86 or maybe early 87 for the demo. It was winning demo of the year kind of awards in some of the big European magazines like Aardschok or Metal Hammer. And helped the band as it were looking for a record deal. A lot of the material on the demo ended up making it onto the Suffering Hour debut album. It's not a perfect match for the track list. There are a couple of tracks that didn't make the cut, a couple of later tracks that were included. But it is a really strong demo showing a band that was already capable of doing something really special. And they did. Anacrusis weren't really appreciated in their time. They got stuck on small labels, didn't have the right distribution, and had a sound that just didn't fit with the rest of the thrash scene. But all 4 albums they made are extremely good. But the Annihilation Complete demo is where it started. And this demo got put back out by Stormspell Records, which Marty and I have shouted out many a time. The label puts out a lot of cool stuff. This is an older release on Stormspell. Marty checked last week, and it's been sold out for a while. So unfortunately, you can't order it directly from Stormspell anymore. But it's a nice 2 CD set. Besides the Annihilation Complete demo, it's got a few stray demo tracks from, let's see, there's 2 from 86.
Even magnifying glass.
88. Yep. Definitely have to these days to see some of this stuff. Some demos from 87, 88, and then there's also a DVD with some live stuff on it too. So and the guy that runs Stormspell does a nice job with layouts and stuff. He's got a background in graphic design and stuff, so you get tons of pictures, good liner notes. He does not put out stuff that's just slapped together whatsoever. He does a really nice job with his releases. So Annihilation Complete, one of the really, really strong demos from thrash metal band with Anacrusis. They, of course, quickly kind of evolved out of the thrash metal style, or at least the traditional thrash metal style. But if you want to hear them in their early days, this is definitely worth tracking down, even if it's a little harder to find that right now.
All right. Well, I thought this was kind of a neat one to show. I remember liking this quite a bit when I got it, and the band changed a bit as they went on. Well, first thing they changed was their name. This is Witchery's Evil Shall Prevail demo 89.
We've got the same collection, Marty. I've got that.
I know. Well, we were the same, running the same circle. I mean, all this stuff was sent to Wormgear for review. So, this is Witchery, and then obviously there was a Swedish Witchery that was taken off, so they had to change their name to Black Witchery. And I put this on today just to refamiliarize. It's been since this was sent to me back in 1989 that I've listened to it. This is Unholy Copy number 28. Which copy do you have, Mark? Do you have Unholy Copy number?
Let me go look. Hold on.
Oh boy, it's a limited pressing numbering measuring contest now.
Dick measuring contest here with Black Witchery. But putting this on today, it is a little bit more traditional black metal. Aggressive, not necessarily very melodic, just kind of, there's a barbarism or barbarism, whatever word I'm trying to say here. There's a barbaric nature to this, but it has the more tense, high strung riffage, the really caustic, black metal vocals. Songs are pretty good. After this, they went way more war metal, and they kind of lost me in the process. Okay, let's get to the bottom of this. Unholy Copy number
11.
Oh, he has you schooled, Marty.
Your penis is bigger.
Marty thought he was hot shit.
Damn it.
You're 17 numbers behind, Marty.
Damn it. Tiny little Black Witchery penis.
On those kind of things, would you rather have like number 1, or would you rather have the last number in this? Like if they made 100, which is cooler, to have number 1 or to have number 100?
No idea.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
It's weird because I see some people really, really do get way too worked up over that kind of thing with what number they've got. We're just goofing around here, of course, but I have known some collectors and fans that are just really feel like someone's pissed in their Wheaties when they realize that somebody else has a higher number or lower number than them. It's just like, who cares? It's okay.
I have an Absu 7-inch that I bought. I ended up with 2 of them. One of them is numbered, and the other, it's got the box. You would number one. I could make it number 1. They forgot to number it. I could put number 1 or number 666 or whatever the hell.
Which Absu 7-inch? Do you remember which one? Is it the silver one, the Shineth into the Cold Cometh, or is it the one with the helmet on it?
It's a later one.
I probably got it too then.
Probably we have the same collection.
It's like gatefold, right? It's like a gatefold 7 PP, like split maybe. Is it a split?
Let me see here.
See if I can.
Well, while you're talking about your next one, I'll go get it.
Okay, sure.
I gotta go pee anyway, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'll grab that 7-inch.
Yeah. Okay. Is it this one? It's Agonia Records, Begonia. It's I can't even read it. It's in French.
Nope, it's not that one. I'll be right back.
All right, so the next one I'll break out. Yeah, the only other is Absolute 7-inch. I have their debut too, but I don't know where it went. I lost it. I don't know how. So the next one I'm gonna break out is an old school band from Massachusetts. It's again kind of a deep cut. This is one of the bands I featured on the compilation I was putting out in the early 90s. It's a band called Putrid Decay from Massachusetts. It's a couple tracks, but this demo always really resonated with me. It was very much inspired by I would say like early Cannibal Corpse, maybe like Eaten Back to Life era, because there's still a lot of thrash roots in this style of writing and playing. Vocals are kind of gruff, similar to kind of like early Chris Barnes. Really good stuff. I think it's a band that maybe only put out one demo and then just disappeared, if I recall correctly. I think this might be the only thing they put out. However, Hell's Headbangers a couple of years ago did a very limited one. I think I don't know if they did if they bootlegged it or if they just distributed it or what. I'm assuming it was just distributed from somewhere because I think the cover's screen printed, but they only did 100 copies on black vinyl. And when I saw, the only other person I know who has this is Ken from Ken's Death Metal Crypt. I don't know who else has this, but this is some awesome stuff if you're looking for some really good, catchy, super catchy, old school American death metal. It's very much I guess I don't want to say meat and potatoes death metal because it's better than that, but definitely a relic and probably a highly overlooked gem in my opinion. Marty, I don't know if you just missed. I was talking about a band called Putrid Decay.
Nope.
From Massachusetts. Death metal. I don't think they put out much, but worth investigating. It's online. I think if you look it up on YouTube, you can find it. It's Putrid Decay, Feeding Off the Dead. Recommend checking it out if you like some solid American death metal.
Cool. That 7-inch that I have here, I was wrong. They are both numbered. I thought it was not for some reason, but this is Telepathic Within Nin Eden.
Is that a picture disc? Or no?
I've got two of them. If you'd like one, I can send it to you.
I don't remember that. Who put that out?
I can't. Something Force. Unknown. No. Yeah, Unknown Force.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that label. Oh, cool. It's on blue. Is that a blue vinyl?
It's a green. It's greenish, teal, sort of.
Cool.
Yeah, I can. If you need it, I'll send you one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to at some point. Yeah,
I'll send you the higher number because fuck you. Just a little there, Mr. Number 11. I'll just send you the 370 or 371. You're getting 371, by the way.
It's brutal.
Oh, rough.
Damn.
And that was the last guest we were ever able to get.
I'm kidding, of course.
All right, let's see here. Let's do a 7-inch one. One of the originals and still a classic to this day. You could almost say extreme heavy metal began with this in 1981 with Venom's very first release. Venom did a couple of demo recordings, but then they pretty quickly got in the studio and did a 7-inch for In League with Satan, backed with Live Like an Angel, Die Like a Devil. Neat Records number 8. Dang. That's the catalog number. They're not sequentially numbered. I'm not getting involved in this stuff. But this is the classic Venom lineup and their very first vinyl release. And Venom, a lot of their early stuff was only on singles. All the tracks didn't necessarily get put onto Welcome to Hell or Black Metal. And a lot of really good tracks ended up on these singles and EPs and stuff they did as well. So this one's got, kind of that classic picture of the band on the back of the picture sleeve, standing there somewhere along the British coast. Wish Frank was in the chat. He's actually done some, hardcore digging to try to figure out exactly where along the English coast the photographs were taken, because it's always been a little bit up in the air about the exact location of the photo shoot. Frank's done like some serious Google Earth zooming in, looking for key
looking
features.
for the same puddle, the same reflecting puddle. I don't think it's there anymore, Frank.
No, but he has found some things that to help kind of narrow it down.
What is the value of that, Alan? Roughly, do you know?
The first single here, probably low 3 figures at this point. I don't know for sure. I got it for a really good price in an auction a few years ago. I put in a bid and I had no delusions about winning. I'm just like, I'll put in an okay bid, but there's no way it's going to hold up. And damn if it didn't. So I got it. Yeah, really cheap. It was in an auction with a lot of other very high dollar records. And I think a lot of people were just focused on the rarer, more expensive stuff. And this kind of, it's a Venom single. There's lots of those. I mean, they're popular, but it wasn't like one of the real heavyweight items in that set of auctions. So yeah, the band here sounds, very primitive, of course. Folks that, know the song In League with Satan. There's not a lot to that song. It's just that, very simple, one kind of hypnotic chord, very simple drum pattern. The rumor was that Abaddon didn't even have a snare drum in his kit, so he had to just kind of keep playing the little dun da da 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 dun da da, and he had to play it on the toms because it's all he had.
That's so underground.
But it's this is very much where the legend starts. Right away with all the Baphomet imagery on the cover and the crazy vocals and stuff. I always liked both these songs a lot. I like all the early Venom stuff quite a bit. Had a lot of fun with the song In League with Satan over the years. One of my college roommates, he wasn't a metalhead, but you could play some metal stuff, that he would be into. And he completely latched onto this one song just because it was such kind of silly fun. And we realized very quickly that you could basically substitute any 2-syllable name in place of Satan. And so, we'd go out drinking, just get, stinking drunk and wander across campus, just, yelling, evil in league with Suze, stuff like that. Evil in league with Marty. You could just keep replacing it. Or you could replace, the evil and, make it, too, like, Riddick in league with Satan. And just amuse ourselves far too much singing this song, inserting other names into the chorus, which there's not a lot of other lines to the song other than the chorus. They just keep going back to it and repeating it because it's all they had. It was barely the framework of a song.
Gavin says I was in a bowling league with Satan.
Bowling in league with Satan. See, it works. If it's 2 syllables, it works.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So, but I was really surprised and happy that I was able to pick a copy of this up finally. There's some of their other early singles I still don't have that I would like to track down. It's hard to find them in good shape, hard to find them for a good price. So I'm happy with the ones I've got, and this is one of the ones I've got. Kind of the first really extreme metal record, Venom's In League with Satan.
That's cool.
There you go, Mendoza. Here we go. Alan in league with Randy.
Alan is 2 syllables. Randy is 2 syllables. It is amazing the number of things you can fit into that song and just have a blast with. It's one of those dumbass jokes that does not seem to get old no matter how many times you do it. All right, Marty, what you got? What very low number release have you got to dazzle us with yet?
Mark, and I was just kidding with that whole thing. I don't care about that stuff. All right. Here's another example of a super. I don't even know how rare this is or not. I got it from Rhett, the band Morgion. This is a promotional demo.
Cool. Nice.
It's basically 2 songs that were on Among Majestic Ruins. So this was sent to me before the album came out.
That's cool. I've never seen that. That's pretty cool.
They actually had a pro cover made for a 2-song demo.
That's awesome. And they got Equitant from, speaking of Apsu, his logo on there, the Morgan logo that he drew.
Yep. Very cool. Just on a TDK.
Oh, that's crazy. So they actually did the pro cover, but not the cassette.
Yeah. Yep.
Huh.
It's just it's
Weird.
Basking Under a Black Sun Dawning and Relic of a Darkened Past are the 2 tracks. But yeah, great. And he also sent a really cool poster as well. But this is a great band. I really love that early that kind of lost touch with it as it went on. That I think Alan has shown their last record, which I don't own, but Among Majestic Ruin was a favorite. They just they did the Death Doom thing really, really well, and they fit really well on Relapse. It was during a time when Relapse was
disembowelment.
Yeah, they were like the kings of grind, but they also had an awesome ear for great death metal and doom, and it was such a great and important US label, you know.
Yep.
But
yeah, I like all 3 of their albums, and all 3 albums are kind of different from each other.
Yep.
They shifted around, and the drummer is in Stygian Crown.
Stygian Crown. Yep.
Yep. Still active. That's a cool
He was
band.
also in Crimson Relic back in the day, which was awesome.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right, Mark.
Yeah, let me this is around Talking Doom. This is one that probably nobody's heard of, but I highly recommend checking it out if you're on. It is floating around on YouTube. There's a band my brother and I used to write to. This is an old picture of them. I think Sven was a guy's name that we were in touch with, but it's a band called Crypt from Belgium. And let's see if I can pop this open. This is from '93. It looks like I couldn't remember what year it's recorded. So Crypt is a band, and I have some of their other stuff too, like some advanced recordings that I don't even know if they ever published some of this stuff. So I don't know how many people have it. I don't know if I'm one of the few, but I don't think anything else came out that I know and I'm aware of. Formally, besides this first demo. But this is really good stuff. This is a band. Speaking of doom, they kind of like a very melodic, almost Greek sounding. You know, the Greek bands would use that flange and chorus sound on their guitars to get that sort of washy kind of gothic sound. This band utilizes some of that too, plus some clean guitars. The vocals are either kind of like tortured sort of sounding, also deep death grunts, but also some kind of pseudo clean singing mixed with it. I don't know what to compare it to. Maybe Candlemass a little bit in terms of the vocal approach, but I think ultimately what they remind me a lot of is if you like early Septic Flesh, like Mystic Places at Dawn is one of my personal favorite albums. It's along those lines in that sort of realm. Again, they're not a Greek band, they're Belgian, but they kind of sound like they could have been a Greek band in some regard, but really melancholic, keyboards throughout, almost like if you think of like the Gathering Always album, how they had a lot of heavy synth work. I feel like you can hear a little bit of that in this as well. Highly underrated, probably just buried in the mix of whatever else is coming out at that time. I don't think this band ever gained a lot of traction for whatever reason, but freaking awesome stuff. Again, one of my favorite demo tapes, Crypt from Belgium, and the demo is called Dreams of Glory and Agony. Highly recommend checking that out. I think it's floating around on YouTube also. Really good stuff. Really melancholic, melodic, atmospheric death doom.
Sweet.
Sounds really cool. Yeah. I don't know all the Septic Flesh stuff, but yeah, I really like the early ones that I have heard.
Yeah, I only like the early stuff by them personally. Up to like maybe their third or fourth album is my favorite. But everything after that, I'm not really too keen on.
All right, Alan.
All right, so let's do another.
So,
oh, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody named Chris mentioned Seventh Key Creations. That was the label my brother used to run, so I forgot. Yes, Crypt was on that compilation that my brother put out in the early '90s. So same band. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, that's good. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's do another Chicago one. This is a 7-inch, but it's a later pressing. This was a demo cassette early on. Band called Warcry, and their demo was called the Trilogy of Terror. Very appropriate kind of early 80s sound. This came out in 83, so relatively early American metal. And it already had that kind of classic Chicago sound. If you hear even just a few notes of this, you will immediately start thinking like early Trouble. Trouble, of course, was the band on that early Chicago scene. And a lot of bands from around that whole, Illinois scene adopted that same kind of sense of heaviness, where it was like, traditional heavy metal, but leaning into something we would call doom metal, later on as well. Warcry were no exception. It's very powerful, kind of a bottom heavy sound, really good, forceful drive to it. They got their 15 minutes of fame. One of the tracks ended up on, I believe it's Metal Massacre Volume 4. And it fits in perfectly on that volume. That whole volume's got a lot of killer stuff on it in the same vein as Warcry. All of these tracks are really good. And unfortunately, Warcry ended up going absolutely really nowhere. I'm checking Metal Archives right now to see, did they ever get anything out? I don't think they ever came back together even. There was one more demo in 84, just called Demo 84. That's it.
Paul was in that band. That's correct. Paul from Master used to play.
Yes, Paul Speckman. The bass player on here is a young Paul Speckman. You're exactly right, Mark.
I've got that 7-inch too. Yeah.
Yep. Speckman, of course, went on to bigger and better things. And some of the other members, definitely played in other bands. I think some of these guys were involved in Tyrant's Reign, which did a really, really good EP later in the 80s. So they were good musicians, so they were in and out of other projects. But the Warcry demo was always a really good one. This was another demo that people traded a lot, even in later years. This is one that people would ask for when I was doing tape trading stuff. I had it on cassette, so it was one that I ran off copies of for a whole bunch of people. And I don't even know who or when this vinyl one came out.
This Dementia Records, I think.
Okay.
Dementia put it out probably about 10 years ago or more.
Okay. Yeah, I just found it not too long ago in Dementia Records. It showed up just in the used bin locally. It's just like, oh, well, look at that. I will definitely pay a few bucks for a vinyl copy of Trilogy of Terror. And it's a gatefold with another picture of the band inside. So, you get just a few tracks, but really good crushing stuff. If you like, early Trouble or stuff like Witch Slayer or Enforcer, the Enforcer from Chicago, Warcry fits in just perfectly with all that stuff. Excellent release. Can't recommend it highly enough. Real shame they never had a chance to do an album. If they could have done an album that had, this level of quality with these songs, it would be considered, one of those really prized 80s metal LPs at this point. But wasn't meant to be.
Frank jumped in the chat and he says that Venom photo shoot was done in King Edward's Bay, Newcastle, UK, on the North Sea, right at the mouth of the Tyne River.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, Goldie had part of that equation, but I knew Frank had it nailed down really, really nicely. Wow. So, Frank, I'll have some more oldies but goodies, early 80s stuff coming up. You may have, you haven't missed too many of them yet, Frank. I'm working my way backwards. All right, Marty, I've got to grab a couple of things while you show your next one.
All right. Well, mention Chicago and
the band.
No, I don't have the Chicago demo. Sorry.
It's Friday on YouTube, not Saturday in the park. I'm glad you guys got that. I wasn't sure.
Think it was the 4th of July. Yeah.
Nope, it's the 26th of September.
Here's a The Chicago band, they were, yeah, black metal band, Ember.
Oh, I've got that too.
There's our other one.
That's the one I have. The one in your the blue one. Yeah.
Within the realm of the Snow Queen here, and then you've got Chapter 2, The Gate. Saw these guys play a couple times at various fests, and ex-member of November's Doom in this band, a member of Pazuzu in this band. They put out 2 demos and a compilation CD with the demos on it. Another one of those US bands trying to sound Scandinavian, and they pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Is it, mind altering or, set? Is it going to put America on the map? Nah, it doesn't, but they're pretty solid. I think I like listening to them better than watching them play. I don't know. I was pretty drunk when I saw them, but I like the demos just fine. Like I said, Scandinavian vibe to it, a little bit of atmosphere. Pretty solid stuff. I don't know if there's anything super special. Just, they actually, did nice pro, other than the tape computer printer,
smudge.
Got wet.
Yeah.
So yeah, solid stuff. I don't think they really did much or went anywhere, which is kind of a bummer. But on the same token, their stuff was catchy, somewhat memorable, but they just didn't really have I don't think they had the spark to really go further. I don't know. Hard to say. It's hard to say with some of the stuff, but I do remember getting these demos and liking them. So fun. And it was always kind of good to get an American band that was decent at the black metal stuff.
Yeah.
There was some definitely some good bands. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the American scene sucked. I'm just saying that, they just had its own thing. And I tend to gravitate towards the Scandinavian stuff typically. So yeah. Marcus next.
Yeah, let me grab one right here. So I'll do a 7-inch next. This is one that again, going back to kind of like how I was talking about the first one, the phlebotomy 7-inch. This one Ken hooked me up with also. We were talking about, I don't know what we were talking about, but this band came up and I was like, oh, I love this band. I first discovered Panthymonium through what was it? Through tape trading. And did I get that right? I couldn't remember. I maybe I got it confused. I was trying to grab my brain. I was trying to think Molan Love, the one who did the I can't remember if it's that or Obscure Plasma, which this came out on, if that was the dude from Monumentum's label. I get the two confused. I don't know why. Anyhow, not that important right now. But Panthymonium, for those who are unfamiliar, was a side project of Dan Sueno. And this is when he's taking a break from Edge of Sanity, he and his bandmates would record stuff for Panthymonium as sort of a like stuff they wanted to record that they felt like didn't quite fit the Edge of Sanity mold. So it's a little bit more experimental, and you hear a lot more time changes in here. It could be blasting, it could be doomy, it could be mid-paced. There's some keyboards in here, even some brass and string wind instruments on occasion. I think they had maybe some saxophone at one point.
Didn't his brother come in and just start laying down some stuff when no one was around on that with the saxophone? Wasn't it his brother that did that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know the story behind it, but that's certainly a possibility. But I always liked them because they were pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I find when I look at the picks that I have, and even just stuff I kind of seek out nowadays, that I even though I like just basic death metal, I find that the stuff that really hits home for me are the kind of bands that try to do things a little bit differently, and they might not necessarily get the accolades just because they're too different. I think sometimes people have a hard time wrapping their head around something that's maybe tries to experiment a little too hard. But I always really liked Panthymonium. So when Ken mentioned that he was willing to part with his 7-inch, I took him up on it, and I'm really grateful to him for having this. So it's such a, for me, it's a cool thing to have. And Ken also wrote me a little note, and he drew a picture of Dylan on there. He looks all sad.
Nice.
Which is kind of funny. But yeah, so it's even got the insert with the, I don't know, it looks like like an Aubrey Beardsley drawing or something like that, like a pre-Raphaelite art.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
It's got the Obscure Plasma logo and I think it's a review or something from Necrotomy magazine, which I'm not familiar with. I guess it's probably Scandinavian zine from back in the day. But it's a really good 7-inch. If you guys like Edge of Sanity, maybe it'll appeal to you. It's a little bit different, kind of bizarre, but Panthermonium always kind of struck a chord with me.
Yep, definitely fun stuff.
Yeah, it's a band I've always meant to check out and never really have investigated much. So they're overdue for some attention.
Paul Nielsen did the art too. I don't know if I forgot to mention him. Paul Nielsen, he did art for like a couple other bands like Abhoth and a few others back in the day. Anyway, good stuff.
Good deal. All right. This will be a twofer, but one of them will be really quick. Tycho has mentioned both of these in the chat tonight, and they're really good mentions, so I wanted to get them on screen. One of them is a demo from a Massachusetts band that came out in 1990. The band is called A Shattered Dream, and the demo was called 4D Society. I haven't played this in ages. I always liked it. It just hasn't come off the shelf in forever. But yeah, it kind of leans in a progressive metal direction. They were probably taking some cues from bands like Lethal, Queensryche, stuff of that ilk, Fate's Warning, for instance. This one came out on Arcane Steel, which was a Greek label. They're still around, I'm pretty sure. They're really good at digging up things like late 80s and into the 90s era demos or cassette only releases and kind of getting that stuff out onto CD format for the first time.
I think I was listening to one of the releases earlier today, actually. Is that Aryan Path or something like that?
Could be, yeah. I kind of lost track of the label over time. But yeah, the releases sometimes, they're this music always sounds good. Sometimes the layouts could be a little cleaner on things.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah, sometimes they'll do things like, they always want to have like, that kind of, glowy halo. Like on this one, you can read the track list really easy. But on some of the releases, it's hard to read the track list because they'll put those like, halos around the letters and it looks really badly with the background and stuff. But nevertheless, they do dig up a lot of quality stuff that otherwise would not get a chance to see the light of day. And so, yeah, Shattered Dream, just haven't played it forever, so I don't have too much to say about it. The other one that Tycho mentioned that, yeah, is a classic and should have been in my stack from the first place is Jagdpanzer's Shadow Thief demo from around 86. So this came out after Ample Destruction had already been released. Joey Tofolo was still in the band at this point. He's still credited on this set of demos. And it's still sounds like Jagdpanzer. It does sound like they are, becoming a bit more melodic here. Tycho mentioned that it kind of feels like it's a little bit pre-Titan Force, which is one of the bands Harry Conklin worked with after Jagdpanzer sort of fell apart. And yeah, I can definitely see that that comparison to the Titan Force stuff. This is an old bootleg CD on Reborn Classics. Reborn Classics was a not so hot bootleg label that would find these old demos, and they always wanted to cram like 2 of them onto one CD, but they often didn't fit. So a lot of times they would cull 1 or 2 songs and just so you only got like 9/10 or 90% of the demo or something, which was kind of crappy. And they were always a little overpriced. Whenever they would list stuff, it was hard to find them for less than $20 a piece. The packaging is very minimal on their stuff. This one was paired with one of the first Steel Prophet demo. And I mean, there's a few liner notes inside at least, but not much. So this is what you got in terms of bootleg CDs in like the late 90s and earliest 2000s. Nevertheless, the Shadow Thief material is really, really good Jagdpanzer material. Like I said, it does feel like it's leaning in a more melodic direction, not quite as rough and tough as the Ample Destruction era. It, at least on here, and again, they may have scrambled the track list a bit, it starts with a cover of Inagata Davida. Probably not the way to start your demo in 1986 to win over the kids. That been questionable. They do a good job of it, and they don't do a 20-minute version of it, thank God. But yeah, probably not the song that was going to win them over. A lot of these songs ended up making it onto Jagdpanzer albums when the band reunited, like in the late 90s. And so a lot of them were good enough to see release on those Century Media years. The title track's the standout. Shadow Thief is amazing. Conklin really soars on it. The funny thing with this demo copy, at least, and I don't know if all the copies had this problem or just certain ones. There's a Shadow Thief. It's kind of talking about somebody's like a assassin or ninja assassin, something like that. It could be like a soundtrack to Assassin's Guild kind of character. And there's this really cool bridge in the middle, like with this, kind of quiet guitar work and stuff that, feels very moody. And in the background on this one, you can hear like this typewriter clacking sound, like, click, 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 click. And I'm just like, the first time I heard him, I was like, what the hell is that? Is this supposed to be like part of the little story they're telling that, someone's like, trying to get like, the next little coded message off or something? Because it fits in with the sound pretty well, but it also sounds very strange. Years later, I was talking to one of the band members on email. I think it was Mark Brody. And I asked him about it. I'm just like, this is going to be the dumbest nerd question you get all day. But on the Shadow Thief demo, what's with the fucking typewriter sound? He's just like, oh, you noticed that too. He's like, oh, wow, you've got a good ear. He's like, yeah, it wasn't intentional. It was just somebody was dicking around with something in the booth, and it bled over into the tape sound. And that's so yeah, it's just there.
But at least you know now.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, that's really awesome to know that. Yeah, it wasn't intentional, but in a strange way, I felt like it always did kind of fit. You could just imagine these again, this whole Assassin's Guild kind of guys trying to quickly type out the next little coded message and getting it handed off before they get stabbed in the back in the next dark alley or whatever. Yes, I'm that kind of nerd. I make up my own stories if I have to. But so yeah, good calls from Tycho. Those two deserve to be on screen. So Shadow Thief, and this got like a legit pressing later on, so you don't have to go look for this so bootleg CD anymore. And the Shattered Dream one, this one from Arcane Steel, you can still find for a really cheap price, and it's definitely worth it if you're into that kind of early 90s progressive leaning metal.
I might pick that up. I do like that sound, the way you described it. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. It'd be worth checking out, I think, for you then. All right. So yeah,
I had a copy of that. I tried to give to Alan, but he already had it. I think I sent it to Rick, so I could have helped you out there, but I don't have it anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no worries.
He would have sent you the higher numbered copy anyway. You don't want that stuff.
It seemed like it was a CDR too. It seemed like it was super kind of low quality. I don't know if it was a copy of the or what, but
don't know. Might have been. Maybe they did some promos or something for it.
Could be.
All right, Marty. I've rattled on long enough. Over to you, sir.
This is a newish one. What year did this come out? This was. No, I don't have it up. I did. I looked up on the Finnish to English translator, and you hit play on the Finnish word, and it's Ratti. So yeah, demo one by Ratti. This is from Helsinki, 2-piece, and I threw this on today because I remember really liking it when I picked it up, and it is very good Burzum worship. Very well produced. It is very similar to the first couple Burzum albums. A lot of atmosphere, A lot of mid pace, plotting, but atmospheric riffs. Its vocals are very desperate and pained. It's just kind of a creepy cover too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, super creepy cover. But yeah, this was reissued on on CD, and they have 2 other albums out after this. Probably should put up this. It doesn't sound Finnish, but it's
Who did the CD reissue? Do you know?
I can tell you that.
Svart Records or something like that.
Let's see. Demo 1. It does not. I have it over on the shelf, I think. Let me see other versions. Here we go. World Terror Committee put it out.
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
The demo cassette came out on Budget Funeral Records.
Not familiar with that one.
But yeah, really good. Like I said, when I got it, I was really impressed with it. I try to keep a ear to the Finnish stuff. I like the Finnish sound. Was very surprised that it sounded very Norwegian. Threw it in today just to refamiliarize myself to make sure my thoughts were different than they are. But no, it's really solid, complete, utter bosom worship. But better production, much better production, fuller, more modern, a little bit more of a modern sound to it. But Arati. Demo 1. Good stuff. All right, Mark.
All right. So the next one is Texas band. This is when I was chatting on a live stream with Carl maybe a month ago on his channel, and I pulled out some Texas stuff just because he's Texas based. And I couldn't find this demo. This is the one that I found that fell behind the shelving in my rec room. So I'm so glad to find it. Terrible name for a band, terrible name for a demo, but I'm going to share it anyway. It's a band called Incest, and the demo is called Misogyny. And I believe they're San Antonio based, if I remember correctly, and they've got some bootlegged H.R. Giger artwork on there, and it's coming apart because it's perforated. You can see.
Oh yeah.
Man, so I guess this is the only thing I thought they had released, but Carl was telling me they actually, and it's not even on Metal Archives. He told me they have a demo that came out before this that's more thrash rooted, kind of like early Sepultura, Sarcophago type stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, that's curious. I didn't know that. But this demo is pretty unhinged. I've always had a fondness for it, but it's an acquired taste. I don't think this is going to appeal to everybody, but I do think that, I don't know if you guys remember when Time Ghoul kind of picked up a lot of a lot of attention when Dark Descent and Ted's Label the Crypt, they put out the demos, the repressed demos.
What a great band. They were good. Yeah,
so I feel like Incest is one of those kind of bands too, that if somebody would take the time to repress this, it would have the same effect because its demo rules. It's so forward-thinking, different, unusual, unlike anything else out there. It's almost like you put Pestilence and Nocturnus in a blender, and maybe like a hint of like, I don't know if you guys know Death Hammer from Norway.
Yeah.
They have that sort of like unhinged, violent kind of energy. This demo has that kind of energy. They don't sound like Death Hammer, but they got the same kind of energy. It's really fast. But what's curious about it too is that it's very synth heavy. So you get this ominous atmosphere throughout, a lot of tension with like discordant guitar riffs and stuff like that. It's very kind of spastic, but also structured. It almost sounds like if aliens landed on Earth and cut a death metal demo, it would sound like this. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just so different from anything else.
Huh. Interesting.
If you like the synth work of Nocturnus and like you like the kind of like the vocals are kind of like Martin Van Drunen in the sense that they're a little bit raspy. They're not quite the same, but it's along those lines. And there's also this sort of otherworldly voice that comes in on some parts that's like pitch shifted. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a project called Akaru. It was this project by the original keyboardist of Apsu, who did the keyboards on Barathrum, their first album.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so that guy did a solo dark ambient project called Akaru, which is probably some of the darkest, most evil sounding dark ambient I've ever heard. And he does voice over it, but some of the vocals on this Incest demo sound kind of like Akaru. It's just really oppressive, just heavy, violent, atmospheric. It's hard to really describe this. If you search for incest and misogyny on YouTube, make sure you put them together.
Yeah.
When you're searching, but I think it should come up. It starts out with a sample from Carmina Burana, so that's going to sound familiar. But man, this demo just absolutely crushes. It's unlike anything else out there. I don't know what else to say. Somebody needs to repress this at some point. It's so good.
All right. Alan.
Oh, sorry, just a second. Trying to double check. Here we go. All right. So next up, this may be the best demo I've ever heard by any band. Came out in 1985. The band is out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Fayetteville is known for Fort Bragg and Fort Bragg. But yeah, a band from that area came out called Overlord. And they did a couple of demos. The first one's in 85. And it's 4 tracks. The tracks are on here. You got Full Speed Ahead, Keeper of the Flame, which is what it's known by, Enchantress of the Night, and a really odd cover choice. It was a hit song in the late 60s by a duo called Zager and Evans. The song is called In the Year 2525.
Oh, yeah. Fields of the Nephilim covered that too.
It makes sense for Fields of the Nephilim. It's a really odd choice for like a mid-80s Iron Maiden inspired heavy metal band to cover, but they do a good job with it. But yeah, this original 85 demo from Overlord is jaw-droppingly good. If you like that, again, just Maiden influenced pure US heavy metal. It's not thrash, it's not glam, it's not commercial sounding. It's just quintessential heavy metal. You will be hard pressed to find something better than this. They did a demo in 87 also, and those tracks are on here also. Those songs are also extremely good. They're just not quite as good as the songs they did in 85. Overlord, unfortunately, didn't get much traction. The closest they came was one of the songs did end up on Metal Massacre Volume 8. 8 is not exactly heralded as one of the stronger Metal Massacre volumes. By that point, the series had kind of run out of steam. It was cool that they were still doing volumes, but yeah, Metal Blade had grown past the point where they really needed to, harvest the demo level bands from all over the place. So you didn't tend to get the same kind of quality on the comps by that point that you did back on volumes like 1 through 5. Even volume 6 still has a couple of notable bands on it, but by 8 it's like I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 bands on here that made an album. Nevertheless, yeah, the Overlord demo stuff, I cannot sing its praises enough. If these songs had been put on like a 7-inch single or like an independent EP pressed up on vinyl, it would be one of those things that sells for like, $300, $400, $500 today. It would just be one of those holy grail relics of, collectors. Overlord, though, did kind of get a second breath on things. The stuff has been put on compilations like this one a couple of times through the 2010s, but they ended up having an issue with naming. The cover here just says Overlord, but on the spine, it's Overlord SR. The SR is because back in the 80s, there was also, as you can imagine, there were probably several bands named Overlord. There was also one in the, I believe they were a Jersey band, maybe they were Pennsylvania, also called Overlord. And when this band was kind of, coming, back to life a little bit, the New Jersey band kind of threw a bit of a shit fit about, copyrights and all this stuff. And so the Fayetteville band had to tack SR onto the name to avoid legal issues. The SR stands for Sovereign Reign. Sure. Okay. I think I might have said overkill, FUNJ in my choice of letters. I mean, really, how pissy is it to try to, want to fight over a name when neither of these bands ever went anywhere?
They all had dreams, though, Alan. They all had dreams.
Yeah, and they forgot to let go of those dreams 30 years later and be cool about it instead.
Did you discover them on a compilation? Is that how you found out about them?
I know I found out about it through tape trading somewhere along the line.
Okay.
Well, no, let me think about that. It may have been, if it was later. It would have been technically like CDR trading.
Okay.
When I found out about them. Because I don't think I've ever owned Metal Massacre 8. There's a couple of them there. Yeah, after 6, I had Metal Massacre 9. That was the one with the hockey player on the cover. That has 2 really good songs, and the rest of it, I couldn't even tell you who the bands are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I've ever even owned a copy of 8. But so yeah, it was a later discovery for me, but really great. The band is still kicking around. They play festivals and stuff. They've released a couple of albums that show up over on the archives in more recent years. One of them is listed as 2015 and one from 2022. I've never checked them out because and it's one of those cases where it's just like, it may be fantastic, but if it's not, it's going to absolutely crush me to hear that, oh God, it's not good. So I'm kind of gun shy about checking it out. But yeah, if you can pick up, the disc here, and again, like I said, there's been a few different pressings of it, but it usually it's called something like, Medieval Metal or Medieval Metal 2. For some reason, every now and then when I find this on a distro, they have it for a really obscene price. Like I've seen like a couple of distros listing this one like $100 for a copy.
Oh,
do not buy that. Oh Lord, if you poke around a little bit more, you will find distros that have this for like $5 or $7 or $12. There's no reason to pay a premium price for any of these Overlord SR demo compilations. I don't know if it was a typo on some of those sites that they meant to type in $10 and they put an extra zero in or what, but it really seemed strange. And when I looked into it, there was no reason in the world that anybody should be charging or paying so much for it. But in all seriousness, if I have to pick one US metal demo from the 80s to keep, this is the one I keep. And there's only one other that I'll show in a minute that would come close. This is the demo of demos for just pure US steel from the mid-80s.
Okay.
Once again, I've talked too long, but I tend to do that. Marty.
No, you like it.
Take it away.
I get it. All good. Well, this is one that, I don't know. I'm sure it's been released on CD later, but this is the Agalock demo from Witch of This Oak.
I've got that too.
Yeah. There's another one in there. I think this is their... Hold on.
Do you have the Pessimist or Uncompromising demos pre-Agalock?
No. I do not have that. Were they numbered?
I was waiting for you to ask.
I was going to listen to this today to refamiliarize, but I didn't get time. But I noticed there's a couple songs on here that didn't make Pale Folklore. So unless the song names changed, this has The Wilderness on it, As Embers Dress the Sky, Foliorium Viridium, and This Old Cabin. Probably. And right away it showed a quality to it, and of course this band would just absolutely utterly blow up. And I think Pale Folklore and Ashes Against the Grain are my two favorites by these guys. But yeah, I also had the Sculpture demo too. I don't know if Don must have sent these to me. It may have been John. I don't know who. It's 100 years ago. I used to talk to Don a bit about his zine. What was it? Infernal Archives? I think that was the name of his zine. we would co-conspire about our zines on the phone
okay.
back in the day. But
Yeah, we were only in touch with John and Jason Walton.
yep. Yeah, and Jason, the Sincerus Anonymous demo. Do you have that one too? Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing stuff.
They had a couple projects going on. I think Jason had a fanzine too for a while.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I think he did, yeah.
Crusty Hunk of Baloney is what it was called.
That sounds like Jason, a Jason title. Yep. But no, a good start to a band that would explode. Great, good on them. A bunch of nice guys too. Mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out another deep cut. This is a Swedish band that nobody talks about. I'm not a huge Swedish death metal head. I like some, but it's not like really always my go-to. But I always like this demo. It's Miscreant, and they put I think this demo out and maybe another one. They had one full length, and then
Is it the one with the person on the cover like sitting there with their head in their hands?
I think it might be like kind of red and yellowish colors. I can't remember. I only heard bits and pieces of it. It's nowhere near as good as the demo though. The demo, the production on the album, I don't know. It just didn't sound. It doesn't hit me the same way that this demo sounds more like. I don't know if you've heard the early Desultory demos. It's kind of in that sort of sound. But they also draw a lot from, I would say, kind of like Edge of Sanity. Maybe like if you think of like Purgatory Afterglow or Crimson, that's kind of, or like the second, not Swedish, but Horrendous, Horrendous from the US.
Yeah.
Their second album, Excites. I'm not sure how to, I can't remember what it's called. It's their second album. It's like my favorite by them. But this kind of reminds me of that a little bit too. I think they may have been inspired a little bit by this demo. But yeah, this band never really picked up too much traction.
They put out one album, Dreaming Ice, which is right here.
Yeah, I'm not sure who put it out.
They didn't have their head in their hands. She was sitting there holding her knees, cradling her knees. Yeah.
What label is it? Do we know?
This is on Wrong Again Records.
Oh, Wrong Again? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard like bits and pieces of it, but I never picked it up. But this demo rules. It's really good. It's very melodic. Great production in terms of like it's got that like a really thick Swedish sound to it. Not like Sunlight or anything like that, but it's just really quality songwriting, really quality recording. And I'm not like a production snob at all. I don't mind like shitty sounding stuff. I like a lot of shitty sounding stuff. But this one's well produced for a demo, I'd say. So Miscreant from Sweden, Ashes is the name of the demo. Miscreant, Ashes. Try. I don't know if I think this demo. I don't think this is on YouTube, but there might be one or two tracks floating around. It's good, worth checking out.
Was that the same? They're talking about Medieval in the chat. I didn't know they were from Ann Arbor. Is that the same Medieval that went on to be on New Renaissance Records?
Yeah, they did the Medieval Kills LP.
Medieval Kills, okay.
And they had an EP that came out before that. Was the EP on New Renaissance also?
I did not know that they were.
Yeah, it was
Ann Arbor. That's crazy. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
more Michigan metal.
There's a Chicago Syndrome was being bounced around in the conversation a little bit too. Another, I think I've got the repressed box set, but I have some of their demos they put out too. Really, really good death thrash type, more thrash leaning band.
Yep. All right, Alan. Oops.
All right.
Good pick, Mark. I haven't thought about that band in a hot minute.
Oh wow, Miscreant! I'm surprised you heard of them.
I've heard. I had it back in the day when I was downloading shit. I downloaded their Dreaming Ice album and listened to it quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
I looked at trying to buy it, and forget it. The price was stupid. So.
Oh really? I don't know what it goes. I never looked into it. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that was a hot commodity.
Probably never been repressed. That's the problem. It's on Wrong Again Records.
Yeah.
Okay, Alan.
Okay, let's see. One piece of housekeeping. Something I meant to announce at the start of the show and slipped my mind. For folks that might have missed it today, Jeff Wagner over at Radical Research has announced that his Voivod book is ready for release. So the pre-order for copies of the Strange Ways of Voivod is going to come out next week. So if you're interested in pre-ordering that from Jeff, you want to keep an eye on the Radical Research website next week. He didn't have an exact date. He just said, yeah, within like the next week, the pre-orders will go up. It's something like, if I remember right from his email, it's 540 pages, and the book is like 7.5 inches by 10 inches. It is going to be a monster volume.
That's awesome.
Covering obviously a band that Jeff, has a long and deep connection with.
Yep.
So yeah, wanted to let folks know about that. If it is available by next Friday, we'll include a link to the pre-order in next week's show and remind folks about it. But yeah, if you're interested in it, skip a couple of lunches this week. Do what you got to do, scrape together some money, and be ready for that. Jeff's worked on it for a very long time.
Very long time.
It's very cool that it's finally come out. He's had the email announcement said he had input from every living former Voivod member except for one. So you're going to get insights from pretty much everyone in the Voivod family tree. And the actual release date, I think, was November 17th. So if you pre-order it, like next week, it's only going to be about 4 to 6 weeks out before you'll actually have it in your hand. So I definitely want to mention that. Sorry, I forgot to do it earlier.
We'll be getting him on the show too to talk about it and talk about Voivod. So it'll be fun.
Yes. And I promise I will not be on that episode because nobody wants to listen to me talk about Voivod because it's just not my band. But I'll stay backstage and drive the comments for Marty and Jeff, and maybe we can get somebody like Jurgen on. That's a band that really deserves to have 3 experts talk about them and not a neophyte who just doesn't know their stuff well. So I'll be setting that one out, but it'll be an excellent episode. Okay, with public service announcements caught up, next one. I said there's one demo that might stand toe-to-toe with the Overlord demo in my personal pantheon. It's a Jersey band, and they were called Chalice. There are a lot of Chalices out there, so you got to check a few to find the right one on Metal Archives. But yeah, this one did this. They did 2 demos. This is the earlier one from '86 called One Final Sin. This is a compilation from later, so it's got the second demo on it also and some live stuff. The One Final Sin demo has 3 tracks on it. And the first time I heard it, and I think the first time most people hear it, it's really hard to wrap your brain around how good this band was. Amazingly tight, very, very fast. A vocalist that soars... not high, not shrill voice, but just really able to sustain notes and stuff. The only sort of conventional thing I can think to compare them to is Agent Steel. Like that kind of level of speed, tightness, and just a really over-the-top vocal performance. Chalice's One Final Sin would be worth checking out. The first song, 7 Seas of Rye, is mind-bendingly good. Obviously, it's a Queen reference. It doesn't sound like a Queen song whatsoever, though. It's just, words fail me on this. I put these songs on a really old episode on Let's Talk Metal. So if you dig way back about 5 years into the episodes, you can find these. I think you can find the Overlord tracks back then too. I put a couple of demos on YouTube back then because nobody cared back then. But yeah, all 3 of the tracks just show a band that was way, way too be good to be putting out demos.
Storm Spell again.
Yep. It's Storm Spell. Jordan, this popped up on the Colosseum website probably 20 years ago. Somebody posted the demo for folks to check out, and it was one of those rare moments where just everybody on the board was just like, holy shit. Nobody complaining, nobody being like, that's kind of mid. They're just like, what is this? And one of the band members did pop up. I guess they had searched their name and found the Coliseum. And Jordan got in touch with him right away, and it took quite a while to work things out. The guy was receptive. He's like, yeah, I'll be glad to talk to you about releasing it, because Jordan was on the board back then and was blown away like everybody else was. I don't know which former band member he was working with, but it took a long time to find the tapes, and get the tapes, to him and work with them and stuff. But they saw it through. It did work out. And so, yes, you can get the One Final Sin demo along with an anthology of the other stuff. There's not a lot of songs on here, and there's, some live versions of some of the demo tracks, and the live tracks don't have the best sound quality. They spliced together everything they could salvage to make it into as much of a CD as they could. But yeah, in terms of just stunning tracks, One Final Sin is about as good as it gets at the demo level. So I don't know if that one is still available on the Stormspell side or not. You can check, but I see it around here and there. It hasn't gone up. It's not some $50 out-of-print disc. You can find it for a very reasonable price, and I highly encourage anyone into that kind of stuff to get it. Again, if you dig bands like Solar Eagle from Canada, I know that's a very obscure reference, but they're also in that same kind of camp of just having this really otherworldly sound of speed, power, majesty, just all rolled into one.
I'll look that up.
All right. Well, again, doing the zine. I was sent a tape. Can't find the tape. I must have gave the tape away. But the Misery's Omen promo 2000. This is an Australian band.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew. I can't remember his name. It's been 100 years since I've talked to him. He was also in the band Sacrifix, and Damon Good is also in a bunch of bands. Void Ceremony, Cauldron Black Ram. I think he's in Stargazer. A bunch of crazy connections there. And they put out a 7-inch to worship stone gods. Like them both so much, I put it out on CD, both of them, the demo and the 7-inch. This is the second Binroon ever release. And I thought they were a super special band. And they ended up afterwards moving on and putting out a full length called To Worship Stone God. No. Oh my God. I can't remember the name. Hope Dies. Hope Dies is the name of the full length. Very good band. They mix a black metal vibe with this weird kind of doom thing, blackish doom. They had a quirkiness to them, very, very interesting, different. That's what turned me on to them. And songs were super catchy, well written, good vocals. Of course, the bass work stood out because Damon Good's just a beast, an absolute beast on the bass. But yeah, it's a band that really should have been bigger. They just never really took off. It seems like a lot of the other bands that they were involved with did way better, because I think, Stargazer is weird in its own way, but Cauldron Black
They've got
Ram,
their fan base, yeah.
weird too. That's kind of like the pirate death metal type of thing. It's interesting, but yeah, Australia, great musicians, great scene down there. Awesome. Mark is next.
I think I was in touch with Denny, one of the members of I think that band for a little bit. Pull out a relic that I think if you're into underground music, you definitely know this one. Phantasm, Wisconsin. There's got to be some people in the chat who know who this band is. I got both of their demos here, but I used to write to Tony and Scott back in the early 90s, and those dudes were always really cool. We exchanged a good handful of letters. It's funny when I think back. I mean, I was just a teenager at the time. I don't know. I'm assuming these dudes may have been a little bit older than me, but I'm not really sure. But what was cool about Phantasm, this stuff got repressed too, by the way. I have all the represses also.
Dread Records, right?
Yeah, Dread. I don't know if that's related to Mike from the band or from the fanzine Dreaded magazine. I don't know if it's the same, if there's a relationship there or not, or a relation there, but yeah. So the cool thing about the Phantasm releases, Scott, their bass player, I was always heavily influenced by his art. He would do a drawing for each of the tracks on the demo tapes. So that always captured my interest. He's such a great artist, heavily influenced by Bernie Wrightson, one of my favorite artists as well. I'll pull the Lycanthropy demo out too, so you can see the drawings in that. Again, really killer J cards.
Nice.
I still have some of their shirts too from back in the day. But Phantasm was pretty unique in that they their songs were more like stories, little horror, suspense kind of stories, and the songs were a little bit more elaborate in their construction, a little bit longer tunes, a little bit of experimentation, I'd say as well. They did incorporate some keyboards, and Tony, who was a vocalist drummer combo, his vocals, he had a little bit of range in them, a lot of screams and shrieks and stuff. I think the only band I could think of maybe compare Phantasm to would be Deceased, just because there's some parallels there in terms of like the storytelling and the elaborate songwriting, and they're just different. Nobody sounded like Nobody still to this day. I don't think anybody quite sounds like the way Phantasm did. But I highly recommend checking out. This is a Lycanthropy demo, which is their first. Their second one, The Abominable, is a little bit more complex, I would say, in songwriting. Nothing over the top. They're mostly live kind of in that mid-pace realm, but really good stuff, high quality, and always visually compelling with their artwork and their overall brand. But they didn't put out too much. Just the 2 demos, the 7-inch, and I think that's it. I don't know whatever happened to those dudes. Cool guys, also. Anyway, Phantasm, look them up.
All right.
Oh,
Alan.
yeah. Scott mentions he had that one.
Okay.
All right, let's do San Antonio Band. This is listed as an EP on Metal Archives. I always thought it was a demo. Doesn't necessarily matter. It was a cassette-only release, so maybe that's why I associate it with a demo. It got a CD reissue later on. The band is called King's Ransom. It's kind of hard to see with the red font on that color background. But yeah, they did this 4-track EP/demo in 1989 called Curators of the Realm, which is kind of a weird name. It's like, one part librarian and one part, fantasy stuff. And their music's a little different that way in the lyrics. On the one hand, it's very solid, late 80s heavy metal. It's not thrash. It's not an extreme band at all. There's some touches of progressive stuff in it, but not too much. But yeah, the lyrics and stuff they're singing about, is definitely where they kind of stand out. For example, one of the songs is called Caged Animals, and it's, kind of an animal rights song. But in the song, they had these samples of animal noises, in between a couple of lines in the chorus, there's this big elephant trumpeting noise and things. So they were definitely, doing something a little outside the box, especially for 1989. The reissue, this one's on Steel Legacy, and has a bunch of extra tracks. I'm not sure. I meant to look up and forgot whether these were other demos that got unreleased or if they came a little bit later. It's impossible to read this red font on this color background, so I had to sticky note the extra tracks on it. The cassette cover is really similar to this, but it's the demon thing depicted in the stained glass here is in a different pose. So it was kind of cool that they used the same cover motif, but did actually get a new piece of art for it. But yeah, there wasn't much else to say about King's Ransom. They did not have any follow-up releases, never got an album deal. The only connection for any of the band members that's listed on Metal Archives. One of the members, I think the bassist, was in the band Wizard earlier in the 1980s, and Wizard released one 4-track EP that is one of those now holy grail, $1,000 plus kind of records from the old early Texas metal scene. That came out like a good 5 years before the King's Ransom project did. But yeah, this one, it's a really cool, interesting demo / EP. The band had some original ideas, but it was solid enough in terms of metal content that it doesn't feel like it's being too proggy or too experimental. Hard to come up with comparisons for it. Maybe if you appreciate things like Psychotic Waltz, but just wanted it maybe a little more grounded in metal, King's Ransom might be something to check out for that kind of material.
Okay.
All right. What time is it getting to be? 22. I'm going to do 3 here.
Okay.
Might as well.
You trying to wrap up, Marty?
Well, we can do a couple more rounds if you want.
Yeah, I only have 3 left. Also, you want to do all 3 at the same time?
Well, my next round I'm going to show a bunch of 7 inches. So,
Okay.
We'll do 3 more rounds so that Mark can get through his last 3.
Well, I got 4 tapes here. We're going to do Prevalent Resistance, Under Satan's Command, Finnish black metal. I didn't know who was in this band. Did a little check. Claim to fame was Spellgoth, who went on to be in Horna or Sargeist. I don't know, one of those 2 bands. He's been around anyway, but typical Finnish sound, raw, catchy, memorable Finnish black metal. Used to do video trays back in the day with Pat from Hellwitch. Ended up getting a Anthropophagy demo.
That's cool.
From him.
Huh. I've never seen that.
It's let's see what's in that 100 years. Never heard this band before. Very thrashy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very thrashy. It's
technical too. Yeah.
Technical. It's a very aggressive thrash metal. Very good stuff. Great band. Another one of those bands that just never really, they had the underground support. And like I said, Pat, did you video trade with him too, Mark?
No, I did not. But I mean, I knew he did. I knew that was kind of like, he's big on that.
His video trading his list was fucking gargantuan. It was
he probably has literally everything that's ever been filmed.
Exactly.
Band. Yeah.
And a couple more Wild Rags tapes here. We've got Thurgathon with
oh hell yeah,
something Yogg Sathoth.
Yep. Old school
4-track. I'm not the world's biggest Funeral Doom fan, but this band and Skepticism are 2 exceptions to the rule. I threw this on today to remind myself, and God, is it murky and abysmal. It's just so, you can't even call it downtrodden. It never lifts its head up. It's just dragging its ass in a pit of misery. And it's just so suffocatingly heavy.
I've never seen that. That's a Wild Rags version.
Yeah, this came out on Wild Rags.
Yeah, I think I just have a CD repress of that. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, they got
There's anything on the inside here.
Logo. That's the dude. That's not Lass, is it? From Claws and Hooded Menace. Is that his old band?
Thurgathon?
Yeah, is that his old band?
I could tell you real quick.
I can't remember if that
Nico, Yori, Miko, and Sammy.
Oh, okay. Maybe I could.
That's who's on this demo. I don't know who went on to be in afterwards. And I got another Finnish one here for you too.
I love that. I have that.
Trip to Depressive Autumn. Damn it. This band was so weird and awesome.
That is a good. I almost pulled that from my. Yeah.
Second Ring of Power, their second album, is a favorite. An absolute. It's doomy, blackish doom, squirrely, weird, avant-garde, but it's so interesting. And even when they moved on after that with Rapture and Gracefallen, they got a lot more gothic.
Okay, I haven't heard those.
They had a lady singing with them, and it had kind of a gothic overtone to it, but it still is weird and awesome. They sounded like Unholy. definitely.
I listen to them a lot still. Like
Yeah.
regularly, I listen to Unholy. Yeah, that
Yeah,
demo.
if you have not heard anything past the Second Ring of Power, check them out.
I'll look it up.
They're good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay.
All right. Mark is up next.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is a classic for me. It's a Cenotaph from Mexico.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is their second. I think this is their second 7-inch. I had their other one too, but I gave it to my buddy from a Reborn from Ashes, Tony. This is the Eternal Disgrace. It's Alfonso Arcor Ruiz, one of my favorite artists, drew the cover. He also Alfonso played in a band, another Mexican band called Pie from Gurdam back in the day. But this is like a bright red, pinkish kind of 7-inch EP, which is pretty cool. It's Baphomet Records from California. Anyway, so I'll show the insert. Are you guys familiar with Cenotaph? I assume you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've had Gloomy Reflections.
That's the only one I have. I have the CD of it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I've got the CD on my car right now, but this is an LP also. But yeah. So I feel like this is kind of like the perfect segue to that album. It's got I think both tracks, if I recall correctly, or at least one of them is on the Gloomy Reflections album. And you can kind of hear they've got sort of that Cenotaph has that nasty guttural death metal sound, but then you start hearing them introduce a little bit of that avant-garde keyboard sludgy kind of stuff into the music here on the 7-inch, and then on obviously moving on toward their Gloomy Reflections album, which to me is like one of my favorites. There's just something very familiar about it, but also I love that they were experimenting a little bit and getting a little bit avant-garde with some other stuff. But yeah, Cenotaph definitely one of my favorite Mexican bands of all time, and very happy to own this 7-inch when it came out.
All right, Alan. Cool 7-inch. I've never seen that. Very cool.
I hadn't seen that either. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Let's see. One more obscure U.S. demo from back in the day. This was a California band, and kind of a similar pattern to several I've shown. They made, this one only made one demo. I thought they made two, but this was actually their only demo. Thankfully, it got a CD reissue. The band was called Blind Assassin. And it was called Die by the Sword. This came out in Cult Metal Classics. They did the reissue for it. And yeah, just another excellent demo that, again, if you were just listening to it and didn't know where they were from, you'd probably guess Chicago. They've got some of that same kind of raw, gritty doominess to their music. Although it's not just a straight out, it's not a Candlemass clone. It's more like they're listening to early Trouble and they're listening to, War Cry, that kind of stuff. For the CD reissue, it's got a DVD with it also, and they got, a fair amount of other tracks on it. But yeah, the tracks from the demo are the real standouts here. It's fantastic stuff in that vein. Band didn't do anything else. It doesn't look like any of the other members really went on to fame and fortune. There is no Paul Speckman appearance here like there was with War Cry or something. But yeah, nevertheless, this was another one that I either found in CDR trading or may have been posted over at the Colosseum once upon a time and really liked. And big kudos to Cult Metal Classics. This is another label that's done a really nice job over the years of finding this kind of stuff, tracking members down, and getting it onto a format other than, a 40-year-old cassette tape that's just waiting to disintegrate, so that people can actually, check it out and have it on something that's going to last a lot longer. A lot of good stuff on Cult Metal Classics. They can be a little hard to get their titles in the US sometimes. You may have to pay a little extra for them, but they do have a lot of cool stuff. The Blind Assassin one may not necessarily look like a big deal to folks, but it is absolutely, one of the top demos from that era. So another cool one to check out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I had a feeling, Alan, that you were gonna bust out a ton of like heavy metal centric type stuff. Seems like you have. I've seen when I watched the channel in the past, you just have so many weird just rare stuff I've never heard of or seen before in that genre or that style. So I'll have to go doing some digging after you post this. I'll have to go back and watch it just to do a little bit of research and deep dive in some of these bands.
Oh, I hope you find some that you like. I figured you and Marty would have a lot of the black and death metal stuff covered really
crazy.
well.
I'm surprised how much of the same stuff we have. Really, I mean, I wouldn't.
Well, we're about the same age, so.
Yep.
Where are you at? I'm at 54.
Your number a little higher than mine. I mean,
this is one time where having a lower number is preferable.
Yeah. I'm almost crossing that 50 threshold, but not quite. Almost there.
All right, right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, just running similar circles. Same.
Yeah. The fanzine thing for sure is a big part of that. Writing for zines, yeah.
Yep. I mean, I remember seeing, Soil Bleeds Black flyers all over the place, and wonder what's this all about, and
And then you get it, you're like, this sucks.
I don't know if I ever heard it. I just saw the flyers, and
it's not that impressive.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But talking about flyers, it was the whole underground thing. I remember back in the 90s, the big thing. Every package I would get had internal bleeding flyers in it.
Internal bleeding is flyer, yeah, no doubt.
And Black Funeral.
Yeah, Black Funeral, yeah.
The bunches of them. And I was always curious. This black, I'm just starting to get into black metal. I'm like, what is this all about? I remember getting, this thing. It was released on vinyl, Iron Bonehead.
Oh yeah, okay.
Journey to Horizons Lost. I'm thinking, what the hell? I got to hear this. There's so many flyers. Well, I ended up tape trading and getting a copy of it, which was a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
Granted, it already sounded like shit, but it sounded even shittier, the copy I got, because I'm like, man, this sucks. Well, over the years, I started doing some sniffing around, and my taste in black metal got shittier and shittier and shittier. And I'm like, well, yeah, the Journey to Horizons Lost, 1994. He would just basically get a band. He would scream over it. It was, and he's kind of do the same thing now. He's got the guy from Drowning the Light doing his music for him. And it's still good stuff. It just sounds like Drowning the Light now with Michael Ford screaming over it. But I don't know. Listen to it now. There's a bit of charm to it, and it takes me back to that time where the flyers. It was our advertising.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it worked. It fucking worked. And Michael Ford, that's all he must have done. He must have owned a Xerox machine and just printed out thousands. Between this and his other project, Darkness and Shroud, it was just like
Zorath was another one he did.
Yeah. And this is again another US black metal project that tried really hard not to sound US, and I appreciate the rawness of it. I do like it. I
did a project with him.
Really?
Yeah, we did a couple. We did a full length and a 7-inch EP called Hex and Tans. It was like dark ambient experimental type stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we used to write. I forgot all of his demo tapes and everything. Also, yeah.
Cool.
That's a Black Funeral in my collection. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, and then I'm going to show, since we're winding down here, 2 of the worst demos that I still own. We're going to start off with this one first. And then my last run, I'll show a bunch of 7 inches. But
black demo.
No. This is I had to remind myself today. I threw it in the tape deck, and this is Razor Freak with total fucking Satan worship.
The name is funny. Sorry, the name is funny.
Okay, we got 3 songs on here. We've got Sodomize the Preacher's Daughter, which is like a song that never ends. It's a drum machine with a punk. It's basically a punk riff, and the guy, I don't know, he's not even screaming. He's just kind of talking over it. We got the hateful. I can't read it. It's all fucked up.
Are you not allowed to read it because it's on YouTube?
No, the hateful backwoods, and then lifting Satan's razor to cut my flesh. It is like a drum machine programmed. It is like boop, bop, boop, bop, boop,
Yeah, yeah.
boop, bop. It's fucking terrible. I couldn't believe how
funny. Where's it from? What
is there an address?
Address? Read the address to us out loud.
I don't think there is one here.
I've got a ton of really bad demos in my collection.
It doesn't have an address in here, just like a little manifesto and how they're evil and black metal and shit. It's terrible. And then this is the King Godzulu. This is the end boss of shitty demos. I've shown it on the channel before.
Trailer Park Burzum. Somebody's comment.
Trailer Park Burzum.
That's pretty good.
This is Venusian Death Cell.
Oh. They should have borrowed my magic markers from the Awakening demo.
This is a band that didn't know about Mark Riddick back in the day, and that we could do our own cover. This is a Natural Harmony, Venusian Death Cell. It's not even straight on the. This is a demo that is coveted by Aaron Margosian. And this thing is, oh boy, I forgot it folds out.
Oh no.
I mean, there's no
more art.
Inspirations: Cannibal Holocaust, Carcass, Immolation, Morbid Angel, The Fifth. I can rest assured that sounds like nothing. This is random, someone beating on a piece of Tupperware in no timing, and then it's like, just like it sounds like a person that is not all there. We'll just say that. It sounds like an unstable individual, but they have multiple releases.
Really?
Yeah. They're up on the archives, if I recall.
You should read precedent for Bind Room.
Yeah, that'd be great. And people, it's not even no-fi. It's like it's zero. It's
Tupperware, like you said.
Yeah, but I have a little video on the before it was Heavy Metallurgy, and where I play chunks of it and was kind of reacting to it. It is just like random eruptions of this nasty, shitty, out of time music with a guy rambling over it. It's so bad. And apparently they play live. He assembles a band and they go out and do stuff. And I guess it's all like that. Completely bonkers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just can't get rid of it. I can't. I was going to send it to Aaron. I know he wants it because he loves things that suck. But anyway, yeah. So my next round will be just a little stack of 7 inches. So
is this our last round coming up, Marty?
Unless you guys, I can break it into 2 if you'd like. However you want to do it.
Mark, how many do you have left?
Yeah, I'll just do these 2 together. They're both related.
Okay. We'll make this the last pass then.
Yeah, Verathron, Genesis of Apocryphal Desire.
Nice.
Very cool.
So it's funny. You can't see this. It's like one of these really like cool 1980s looking tapes. It's all pop colors and stuff.
Nice.
But Necrobicius was one of the people I used to write to back in the early 90s. One of the first people I think I wrote to. It's probably one of the first demos I picked up. And it's still like, even every once in a while, I'll get a letter, an email from Stefan. And I was fortunate enough to do a couple illustrations for them along the way.
Nice.
Which is cool. Super. It's just awesome when you find people who are in the underground and still do it and still are really cool and like personable.
Yep.
I mean, he's definitely one of them. He's always been a huge supporter.
Great screamer too, a great vocalist. I really like Verathron.
Yeah, and I know their discography's kind of a little bit varied over time, but
when they got back together, all the shit ruled. That Stygian Forces of Scorn comeback record, awesome. I love that record.
Yeah, they're a good band. I mean, and I pulled this demo too because not just because he's like one of the people I wrote to pretty frequently, or at least for a long period of time, stayed in touch with. It's just a good solid representation of the Greek black metal sound. The other one I was going to pull, and this is a repress. I actually had the original, but I don't know where it is. I couldn't find it. It's
Check behind any other pieces of furniture,
yeah,
maybe.
sure, I could, right? It's just Riding Christ. There, I think it's like the third demo or something like that. It's again one of the first underground bands I ever heard. Somebody dubbed it for me on the tape, and so I went and bought it. And this is, like I said, a repress from a box set that Floga put out
Oh, nice.
a while ago. But I thought this is pretty cool. It's pretty rare. It's copy. Here we go. Copy 6 of 8.
Nice.
And
Wow.
it's limited Rotting Christ. Their I think it's their first or second demo. Bear with me while I'm going to open it. It's got a couple of things in it. It's got obviously a repress of their demo. Their what is it? Satanist Tedium, and also comes with a poster of the cover art, and this is pretty cool, like a little fanzine with like some old flyers and interviews and stuff with them, right? It's just like a little mini zine patch, and then it has these necklaces from like from the early Greek scene.
Cool.
That you probably recognize that from. I think Necromantia used that a lot. A couple others like the person being eaten by the.
You'd like be like a Mr. T of the underground if you decided to put all that stuff on where it was. I pity the fool that don't like Rotting Christ.
I pity the fool that tries to wear all these at one time.
You could wear buttons to go with it. This thing's really cool. So this actually was sent to me by Kostas from Medieval Demon. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Medieval Demon. Kostas and I think his brother, they run a record store in Athens, if I remember correctly. And I think he's the one who released this. So it's super limited. He sent it to me along with a bunch of old Greek metal 7-inches, which I've always cherished. I thought was just the coolest thing. Did some artwork for his band. And in fact, the new album just came out. I did the cover for Medieval Demon.
Oh, that's where I've heard it. Yeah, they did it.
Yeah, Health Headbangers just put it out. But yeah, he sends me stuff in trade and sent me some really cool shit on.
That is really cool.
But and even Sak, like Sak is from Riding Christ, a cool dude. I've collabed with him in the past. And that dude's still, even though the band's like grown and changed a lot, that guy just still has the true underground spirit. Super nice. The whole Greek scene, those guys are super cool. So I just thought I'd share those. It's a style of music I've always adored, and it's really cool. The people behind it are generous too.
Really neat.
That's really cool. All right, Alan.
All right, so let's wrap up with a few things here. One last U.S. demo. This one's from '87. The band was from the Northwest. I think they were from the Seattle area in general. Lethal with their demo, The Arrival. This band did release an album for Metal Blade a few years later, an excellent album called Programmed.
It's a good album.
Yeah, it's a good album.
Yeah, very good album in the kind of, Queensryche Heir Apparent style.
Very Queensryche.
Yes, very influenced by that. The demo's in that same vein too, but the demo is every bit as good as the album, if not a little better. It's 4 tracks. I think only one of them ended up on Programmed. So the other 3 were only on the demo. And yeah, they're as good as any of the album tracks, if not a little bit better. The real sort of, catch in Lethal's career was that there's a 3-year gap between this demo and that album. And you feel like they kind of missed their chance in those 3 years. If they could have, because with this coming out in '87, they were ready for an album. And if they could have gotten this worked out for release around '88, right when like the hype around Mindcrime was a big thing and people were checking out, Fate's Warning's new direction, Lethal could have, ridden that wave of interest in that kind of, style of progressive metal. Having to wait 3 years, it kind of then falls into more of a no man's land. By '91, it's, getting overlooked for, bands changing styles and grunge coming out.
Yeah.
you wouldn't have, the next big prog thing in metal hit until 92 with Dream Theater's Images and Words kind of blowing up. So it was too early to capitalize on Dream Theater's success, and it was too late to really capitalize on Mindcrime's success. So it really just came out at the wrong time, but it's a good demo. I'm guessing there's got to be a reissue of Program that has the demo tracks included. I just don't have it. Another one to wrap up with quickly, a couple of Swedish things. The band Jona Quiz did a couple of demos in the early 80s on the Swedish scene. This another Stormspell compilation that has the early demo stuff. It's the 1982 demo in particular, which is the first 4 songs on here. This is another case where the later demo comes first and the earlier demo comes second. And I'm sure in this case it's because, Jordan wanted the really strong tracks up front. These 4 songs are as good as anything else that came out of Sweden in the early and mid 1980s. Gotham City, Heavy Load, Sure, yes, all great. Jona Quiz is right there toe to toe with any of that. I think, I want to say, I'm pretty sure the vocalist for Candlemass started out in this band. It's late. I may be getting that mixed up. The only reason I can think of that this band didn't get as big or as well known as those acts is they sung in Swedish. So yeah, if you're trying to read all these song titles and stuff, the titles are all in Swedish. The vocals are all in Swedish. It sounds fantastic, but of course nobody outside of Sweden has any idea what the hell they're saying. And let's face it, that did impact a band's fortunes back in the day. If they had sung these tracks in English, they probably get a record deal, and it's probably one of the gems of the Swedish heavy metal scene. And again, it's like 1982. It's really early stuff.
Wow.
The last one I'll show is one more Swedish thing. Tim mentioned the Gotham City Black Ritz EP in the chat a little bit ago, which is, Gotham City's kind of considered the cream of the crop of that. I don't have the Black Ritz EP, so I can't show that. But I can show the band's 7-inch single that came out before that. So this was Gotham City's first release 7-inch single from 82. It's on a really small label, not a lot of copies or distro for this at the time.
Does that have some value, Alan? That one?
This one, if you were to try to get this these days, it'd probably be in the $500 to $1,000 range.
Wow,
This single has gone for over $1,000 a few times in recent years. I'm not saying it's worth that. I'm just saying people have paid that much for it a few times. I got it in a ridiculously crazy trade 10 or 15 years ago.
Nice.
The trade would take 30 minutes to explain how it played out. It was really messed up. But it's got, the 2 killer songs on it. Both Gotham City and Killer Angels are great. The band, went through some lineup changes, by the time you got to the EP and the Into the Unknown LP also, which are both also fabulous releases. But Tim, I didn't have Black Roots to show, but I figured I would grab this off the shelf and show where it all began. Since we're doing 7-inch material, it seemed fitting. Gotham City's first classic single. Oh, and this has been bootlegged. So if anybody is looking for copies of it out there, there's a copy right now on eBay. It's buy it now for $135, which sounds great until you look closely and realize that it is definitely a boot copy. So buyers and shoppers, be mindful. It's not hard to spot that it's a boot, but the boots were made, even those are probably 15 years old now or more. Could be 20 years by now. But do be mindful if you're going to go shopping for this one. It's hard to get. It's expensive. Unfortunately, it's gotten to the point too. Everybody knows it's expensive, so it's really hard to find a cheap copy. If you want the bootleg for $135, it's out there. I don't know if I would pay that, but even the bootleg copies, I guess, have dried up. I will end it there. So, Marty, you said you got a pile of cool 7-inch stuff to wrap us up with.
Yeah, some favorites here in the stack. I don't have a ton of 7 inches. I've got a couple little mini bins of them, but some neat ones. Should have shown this with the Morgion demo, but Travesty, 2 songs, Wither the Storm and Nomads of the Dawn. Very cool.
What label put that out again? I can't remember. Is it Gothic or Yes Records or something like that? I've got that one too. I just haven't picked it up in a while.
Catatonic Records, 1993.
Yeah, don't remember that label. Okay.
This is a reissue. We mentioned Mark mentioned Pandemonium earlier. This is another Swano project, Dark Side.
Oh, okay.
God, this song is called it's a one-off song for a one-off project.
Yeah, I never heard of that one before.
The song is called Lord of Evil. It is absolutely, utterly one of the most brutal. He also wrote the song Eaten on the for Bloodbath.
Oh,
This is like that song, but heavier. It's just a great. There's like some really creepy evil keys in it. It's just him, super low, miserable, brutal death voice on this. It's a split 7-inch with his other project, Infested, which is very much his appreciation of Deicide, I think. Has a Deicide lean to it, but check out this Dark Side song. Look it up on YouTube, Mark. It is utterly brutal. So good.
I'll look that up.
Another favorite, Cathelist. This is one of those bands I wish was still going. It's kind of like the spiritual successor to Demolic. Kind of technical death metal with Predator like gurgly vocals. Very cool. This on Profound Lore. 2 songs. One's a Crematory cover.
Oh,
this is always. What's that?
I've never seen that 7-inch before, but I think I've got some other stuff. That's I think that's the dude from Warm plays in that band.
Oh yeah.
I forgot his name. I don't know why he's leaving me.
There's a Claude. There's a Philippe.
It's Philippe. Yeah, Philip.
Yeah. Antoine and Phil.
Yeah, Phil Tugas.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, my eyes are getting bad. Anyway, Ulcer's Phlegm, Bavarian band from Germany.
That's crazy.
This is one of these bands that had 2 or 3 7-inches and a demo, put out a live something or other and a compilation. That's all they ever did. But this thing, another detuned, heavy as shit, really sick death metal, and they do a cover of The Day Man Lost by Carnage. Really cool song, really great cover.
Did Morbid put that out? Morbid Records?
This came out on Badonsky Records.
Not familiar with that. That looks
Badonsky.
One.
Yeah, really good shit. East Coast band, we've got Symphony of Grief.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, Cerberus, right? They were previously called Cerberus.
Yes. And the main guy in this, after Symphony of Grief broke up, he started an industrial metal project called Krypton.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
But this is basically, well, it boils down to incantation worship, but with a drum machine. Always kind of liked it. Good stuff. I had a drum machine band back in the day too, so I always had a little appreciation for the guys that labored over their Alesis HR16 drum machines. We got Rotrevor.
Oh yeah, I've got that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome, brutal, excellent U.S. death metal. Putrefact, Visceral Devourment 7-inch. This is a really good death metal 7-inch too. This came on Afterworld Records.
Okay. Does it say who did the art on it?
Maybe. Nothing on the inside. It does not say.
Okay. I was just curious. Kind of reminds me of like the Profanatica logo a little bit.
Kind of.
Maybe the guy who drew the Profanatica stuff did that. I don't know. It's cool.
You got an intro, 3 songs, really good, brutal death metal. Wow, this is always a favorite.
Putrefact from Jersey? Because I think I might have their demo. I think they're from Jersey.
Let me look. Putrefact.
Oh yeah, they are from Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I have the rehearsal.
Oh, Thomas from Ceremonium was in the band at one point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I don't have the 7. I just have the demo tape.
All right. Next up, this is another favorite. All That Remains, Phobia 7-inch. This is awesome. I like most of the Phobia material, but this is leading up to that. Oh my God, the one in the Bone Church, full length. oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. My brain is not holding up, but they're early full length album on Relapse. Awesome.
You got a lot of those early Relapse releases. It looks like.
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Incantation,
yeah.
Deliverance of Horrific Prophecies, another Relapse one.
Mm-hmm.
They always did the nice covers. They were used to have a shirt with that too, but I got too fat for it.
I've got pants with the Moyen art on each leg.
Nice. Oh, another Relapse one. General Surgery.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Necrology. This I found at a little record store called Radio Kilroy in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Very cool.
Yeah, I like that band. I don't have that record though. That's cool.
Really cool. I like the artwork on this one too. The color scheme and the very cool. Speaking of Ceremonium.
Oh hell yeah. Classic right there.
Yeah, Nightfall in Heaven.
Roy's old label, Necroharmonic.
Yep. Necroharmonic. I checked out I've got the Ceremonium stuff. I listened to one of their later, I think their last CD. God, it's so good. They were such a good band.
Those dudes, when I went to Milwaukee, I set up a booth with the editor of this magazine called Hellion, and the guys next to us was Ceremonium, the Ceremonium guys, and they were super cool dudes.
Yeah.
Super friendly guys.
We got an early Matty Karki band, No Canonization by Carbonized on Thrash Records.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
there we go.
Classic. Yeah, that's a good band. Like I feel like they're kind of underrated.
Look how young.
Yeah, man, they're just little kids.
Crazy. Asuk, Blind Spot, another favorite. These guys are just absolutely killer grind band.
Does that have value? That looks like it might be kind of rare.
I got it for $3.49 back in the day. I don't know if it has value or not. It'll be something my kid has to deal with when I'm dead. Arcanum, Boca Chaos.
Oh.
Swedish black metal, very catchy one-man project, Shamati. He was in Grotesque at one point playing drums.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the rumor I heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
What label put that one out?
This is on Carnal Records.
Oh, I don't remember that label. Okay.
Here's an oldie. They Die in Crestfallen by Anathema.
Oh, wow. Damn. It's got their old gory logo on it.
Yep.
Damn.
Witch Hunt Records.
Oh, yeah. They put out some... You know, Witch Hunt was kind of overlooked, too. Did you ever listen to Xerxes? Or what was the other band? Wayfarer. They're more like progressive. Sadness. All like Witch Hunt bands.
Oh, Sadness, the death metal, the doom.
Yeah, they're like Death Doom from like Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like Witch Hunt put out some really unusual bands, man. Overlooked bands.
And the last of the batch, this band I think is seen as cheesy, but I dig them. Azagal, 2 7 inches. More finished black metal. Big fan of this band.
Nice.
Death to Humanity. This is the Satanic War. Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Nice.
We should do a 7-inch episode someday. There's all sorts of fun ones we could. And Alan's got a treasure trove of stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing you share some of your like really weirdo, like obscure heavy metal 7 before. I was like, damn, I've never heard of any of these.
Yeah, I seem to collect those somehow.
Yeah.
Yes, Scott, that was the lightning round. I pulled a bunch of 7 inches. Might as well show them off. But I guess that's it, man. Mark,
Indeed.
Great to see you as always. Great topic.
Yeah, no, this is
Very
fun.
fun.
I appreciate it. There's some stuff I've got to go do some researching on now because of this. So it should be fun.
I think lots of folks will be checking stuff out this weekend in the wake of this. Lots of cool stuff from everybody shown here tonight, and lots of great stuff mentioned by folks in the chat too. Obviously, we can't show everything in one episode, but thanks to everybody who's been posting lots of other cool demos, EPs, and singles, and just some really cool and interesting stories have come up in the chat too.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me on here, by the way. This is fun. It's cool to like pause and talk about music instead of drawing and all that.
Well, that was the whole idea. We got to get him back
Mhm.
and talk about it. And we'll do it again. You're open
Absolutely.
invite anytime.
Cool.
You come up with an idea, you want to talk about it,
I
let's
appreciate
do
that.
it. Or you have something you want to promote.
Okay.
And
Cool.
if you got anything coming up, now's a good time. You got something you want to talk about that's coming or happening, or
Yeah, I think like 2 weeks. There's a Dungeons and Dragons putting out a collaboration with Stranger Things. It's like a starter set.
Oh,
So I did it. I drew 3 of the cards in the set. So
awesome.
pretty stoked about that.
that's cool.
You know, being a fan of like the D&D aesthetic since I was a little kid, and enjoying the Stranger Things franchise. So that's coming out soon. I've got a couple other big stuff that I've worked on that I guess I can't talk about yet because it hasn't published. But that'll be done down the pipeline, and nothing that I can think of off the top of my head on the radar. But that's definitely like the big news, I guess, for right now.
Cool.
How about you guys? You guys have anything going on?
Alan, let's talk metal every Tuesday.
Oh, let's see. This week we've been talking in the comments about comparing 1984 and 1986. as two
Which
of the
one is
best
winning
years.
out? That was a good video. Which one is
Thank
winning
you.
out?
84's gotten more votes from folks, but obviously you can make a very strong case for either year. And people have brought up, other years that were their favorites too, and mentioned a lot of the cool releases from like 83, 1980. Had several people vouch for it, which was pretty cool to see. And of course, like 1993, some of those 1988, some of those late 80s and early 90s years are ones that are very stacked with classic albums that people love. So that's been really fun. Don't know for sure yet what I'll post on Tuesday. I might post that the eBay based video. Like I said, there were just several rare, obscure records that kind of have showed up on eBay in the past week, and so yeah, we'll just share screen and walk through some of these. And it turned out that several of them were Michigan bands. So maybe we will. Maybe I'll post that one for Tuesday and let folks check out how those auctions are. The auctions will have ended by the time the video comes up. But if anyone's that really looking for that kind of stuff, go check now. But maybe you can still get in a bit.
Sweet.
And Marty, what have you got for album club next week? You did Convulsed this past week.
Talking about Hellwell, Beyond the Boundaries of Sin debut.
You mentioned a week or two ago this one was on the short list.
Yep, on the short list. This is a Mark Shelton project, and it sounds like Manila Road with Deep Purple organ. It's good stuff. They only did 2 records, and Monday there will be a review up for the new Revocation from Melanie Loves Death Metal, so that's cool. That's already been turned in. I got to edit it this weekend.
I'm gonna go see them live in a couple weeks.
Hey, who is auctioning the Glorious Dead? I don't know. Any buyers?
Yeah, dude, wondering, would you guys? I know you last time I heard you were in the recording process. Is that right? Are you guys done with the album, or
the album is done? It's all written. It's just we're getting rehearsed, so when we go into the studio, we're not stinking up the place.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And yeah, these songs have a lot of moving parts, more so than normal. So we're trying to get a little bit more familiar. And the older you get, your brain gets mushy.
Yeah.
Tend to forget this and that or play things wrong. But
are you happy with it? I mean, obviously you probably are. You wouldn't be.
Yeah. There's a little bit of Peaceville 3 vibe on some of the songs, and
I was going to ask like what you were looking at for influences on the new album. So some of that Doom influence.
I don't know. Alan said he heard Asphyx and stuff on there. I didn't catch that. I don't know.
Yeah, the tracks you gave me a chance to check out, I thought were really cool. It felt like maybe leaning like just a little bit more like a Death Doom direction, which was really crushing. Y'all were doing a great job with it.
No, thanks.
Cool.
Our tens of fans will be clamoring in the streets. But
just release 8 copies and number them.
Save a lot of money.
They'll have to fight over which number they get.
I'll just print 500 and make 100 number ones. That's it. Mark, thanks for joining us. Everybody tune in. We'll be here next week for you. And thanks for joining us. You're all the best. And if you want more behind the scenes chatting in like you do in the chat every Friday, go check out our Discord server. We're talking about music and exchanging tips on new bands or old bands all day long. Great community we have there. It'd be great if you all joined it. So that's it. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.